Family Cultivation. I can improve my magic weapon. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 901, Killing the Demon King, shocking the whole audience. Hiss. Shun didn't expect that he would be seriously injured. He obviously underestimated Chen Qingyun and immediately reluctantly retreated dozens of feet away. The mouth of the main body was penetrated. This kind of injury was not fatal to the nascent soul Demon King at all, but instead further angered Shun. Shun's eyes began to turn blood red, and he opened his mouth again and spit out. This time a stream of blood-colored venom was sprayed out, about 5 feet in size. After this bloody venom appeared, it began to spread in the wind, and instantly turned into a bloody river, rushing towards Chen Qingyun. With the Qingguang armor protecting his body, the blood-colored toxins were unable to do anything to Chen Qingyun and were easily neutralized. Part of the poison fell like rain, dripping on some monsters that had no time to dodge. These monster beasts howled and turned into a pool of blood, with no bones left. In order to prevent these toxins from endangering the monks, Chen Qingyun's hand flashed with light, and a red fan spirit treasure appeared in his hand. This is the 9-flame fan. While Mu Tao Ren was resisting the monsters, he was paying attention to what was happening on Chen Qingyun's side. When he saw the spiritual treasure in Chen Qingyun's hand, he recognized it at a glance. Chen Qingyun waved the precious fan in his hand and fanned it forward. Strong and hot flames suddenly surged out and turned into a rolling sea of fire, covering the entire river of poison. Under such blazing flames, all the toxins were firmly restrained and burned away, turning into wisps of black smoke and dissipating, making a whirring sound. This wasn't the end yet. With the top spiritual treasure in hand, Chen Qingyun took advantage of the victory to attack and waved his fan again. The fire-red light in the 9-flame fan flourished, and a large flame surged out again, mixed with just the right amount of wind attribute power, pushing the flame to its peak power. What a powerful magic weapon! Wang did not expect that Chen Qingyun would be the best spiritual treasure. As soon as he took action, he was sure that Chen Qingyun was not an ordinary nascent soul. When he was frightened, he could only turn around and run away. Unfortunately, the flames emitted by this 9-flame fan are definitely not ordinary fires. They can use flames as energy to condense magic attacks at extremely fast speeds. The combination of large flames changed and turned into 9 flame dragons, 50 or 60 feet long, majestic, and they directly caught up with Shi Wang's footsteps. Shi Wu knew that flames could restrain his body, and no matter how powerful snake monsters were, they would still be afraid of high-level flames. At this moment, being approached by 9 flame dragons, one can feel a severe burning sensation, which is enough to refine a nascent soul cultivator. When Shi Wu was horrified, he quickly prepared to use nascent soul teleportation and voluntarily gave up the battle. But before he could make any move, the next moment he was tightly entangled by 9 flame dragons, and the scales on his body were ignited, and large pieces began to fall off during the burning. Chen Qingyun found the right opportunity and released the purple sun fire. A purple flame suddenly flew out, almost instantly, hitting Shun 7 inches and pierced through. Bearing such an almost fatal blow, his body was destroyed, and Shi Wu was very decisive. He could only fight for a glimmer of life with his last nascent soul, without any hesitation. All of his consciousness was attached to the nascent soul, and then he opened his mouth and spit out the nascent soul, and the nascent soul flew out of his body and fled into the distance. This was not the first time that Chen Qingyun killed the nascent soul Demon King. He had already prepared for this and used the Cauldron of All Things to shoot out a treasure light again. No matter how fast Shi Wu was, it could not match the speed of Qingguang. After being hit, nascent soul shook a few times in the air and was temporarily restrained. Chen Qingyun saw the opportunity and used the Cauldron of All Things to show off its power. The foolish nascent soul immediately suffered the same fate as the red blade and was included in the Cauldron of All Things. At this time, a group of purple-green divine flames had condensed in the Cauldron of All Things, and under the control of Chen Qingyun, It began to refine the consciousness of abandonment in the nascent soul. Qingguang was unable to resist the attack of the heaven and earth spiritual fire, and finally became terrified and began to cry out and beg for mercy. "Don't kill me, don't kill me. If you let me go, I will give you all the treasures in Kua Snake Cave, and I will be a slave." The nascent soul demon king has always been scheming. In the early years, when he was still in the golden elixir stage, he was wanted and hunted by Kua Shedong. Chen Qingyun showed no mercy at this moment. The purple-green divine flame increased its power, and more flames condensed in the Cauldron of All Things, quickly refining the consciousness of abandonment. As for the body of the giant snake underneath, it can be used to refine weapons, elixirs, and talismans. These are treasures and will be eaten by monsters if they fall to the ground. Chen Qingyun continued to activate the Cauldron of All Things and put the bones of Kua Snake into it. After the beheading was completed, at this time, the battle on the beast-tide side had basically come to an end, and more than 6,000 monster beasts had been almost wiped out. Chen Qingyun has become the focus of many people's attention at this time. Witnessing Chen Qingyun's stunning move, he actually beheaded a nascent soul demon emperor in such a short period of time. This caused Zhang Wenhui, Lilac Fairy, Patriarch Yuan and others to be shocked and their eyes widened. Yuanying monk. The head of Yaoang Mountain swallowed, with a look of disbelief on his face. Looking at Chen Qingyun's face, he really couldn't believe that such a young monk had actually reached the height of the nascent soul stage. This Chen Qingyun is amazing. Zhang Ren was so shocked that he no longer knew how to praise him, and in the end he could only sigh deeply. Zhang Wenhui was in a daze, feeling that the gap between herself and Chen Qingyun was getting farther and farther, and she was increasingly unable to catch up with Chen Qingyun. Many of the other cultivators around who did not know Chen Qingyun, after being shocked, burst into cheers again. The killing of the nascent soul demon king will definitely inspire people and boost the morale of the fellows in the 4 war zones. At this moment, Xingzun had arrived outside Ningxing Island and happened to notice the scene of Chen Qingyun killing Shuang. When he was surprised, he turned into a stream of light and fell beside Chen Qingyun. It was the first time that Chen Qingyun saw Xingzun and did not know him. He sensed the nascent soul aura revealed by the other party, so he subconsciously became alert. Then, Xingzun took the initiative to greet him. "I am Xingzun of Xingzong, who are you?" Xingzun's proactive greeting attracted a lot of attention and once again gave everyone a reassurance, thinking that this battle was already stable. Since he had already killed the Yuanying Demon King in public, Chen Qingyun no longer held back and introduced himself. "Chen Qingyun, from the Chen family of Linjian Island." "Oh, it's fellow Taoist Chen." Xingzun bowed and smiled, and was about to ask a few more questions to get closer, then suddenly raised his eyebrows and looked towards the east side of the island. "Why, is it still haunting?" Chen Qingyun looked in the direction of his gaze and saw a black light rushing in the distant sky, containing a strong demonic aura. "The Demon King of the Black Dragon Palace is still chasing us, fellow Taoist Chen. Let's talk about it later, and wait for me to kill this one first." Chapter 902 Xingzun and number 039:S Methods. Now that Chen Qingyun was present, Shuang had been cleared, and Xingzun had no scruples, and he sacrificed his magic weapon and went towards the black light. Seeing Xingzun take action for the first time, Chen Qingyun was quite curious and began to pay attention to this battle of Yuanying. But he did not plan to take action for the time being. At the same time, the Taoist Mu, Fairy Dinxian and others below saw that there were 2 Yuanying cultivators guarding the scene, and their morale immediately reached its peak when they were excited. Everyone did not dare to delay, and they all joined forces to clean up the remaining nearly 1,000 monsters. The strongest of these monsters was only in the Purple Mansion period, and the 6 Golden Core Demon Kings had all been killed. Now, they had no leader, and they all became headless flies running around, and some began to flee from here. Chen Qingyun controlled the puppet while the clone assisted in cleaning up the monsters and harvesting the demon pills. At the same time, he saw that Xingzun had taken action and hit the black light into the sea with one blow, setting off a sky-high wave. As the wave surged, Black light rushed out of the sea and transformed into the image of a man in black robe and red hair. He offered a pair of scissors-shaped magic weapon and cut towards Qingguang. This pair of scissors is called Shark Tooth Mountain Splitting Scissors, which is made from the claws of a 5th-level dragon and is specially used to counter defensive shield light. This treasure is also extremely powerful when used to attack, reaching the level of a mid-grade spiritual treasure. Qingguang did not dodge, and a silver circle magic weapon flew out of his hand, unfolding to a size of 10 feet. The edge of the circle was flashing with stars, and it rotated at high speed and unfolded forward. A strange scene appeared. The Shark-Tooth Mountain Splitting Scissors was originally full of vigor, and it seemed to be about to cut Qingguang and Ningxing Island in two. But after approaching the silver circle, it suddenly lost its power and became like an ordinary object. It was taken into it in one fell swoop and disappeared. Space type, spiritual treasure? This scene surprised Chen Qingyun secretly. Because from a distance, the silver circle can still be felt to emit a strange aura. It seems that it is not an ordinary spiritual treasure, it is very special, and contains some space. It is very similar to the Qiankun Circle of Taishan Laojun, which can collect all weapons in the world, which is very powerful. The spiritual treasure was obtained by Qingguang on the mainland, right? And looking at that, as soon as he made a move, his own spiritual treasure was taken away. Surprised, he had to try to sacrifice another spiritual treasure. This treasure is a 6-pronged halberd, which has 3 more blades than the trident. After it appeared, it turned into a pillar supporting the sky. As Zed waved his hand, it fell from the sky and slashed towards Qingguang. This 6-pronged halberd turned into the size of a building. The momentum and power reflected on the blades had long torn the sea surface apart, and a large number of waves surged to both sides. Qingguang looked extremely small in front of the spiritual treasure. The same scene appeared again. The silver ring of Qingguang shone brightly, exerting a collection effect, and stretched out again while suspended in the air. The hexapod was suppressed and shrank rapidly, which was visible to the naked eye. Qingguang's eyes flashed with divine light, and he urged the silver ring to hit forward, and put the hexapod directly into the circle with great dominance. Another spiritual treasure was taken away. My spiritual treasure. The second spiritual treasure was taken away, and Zaid was shocked. He did not dare to use the spiritual treasure to attack for the time being, and instead used his innate magical powers. He saw him pinching his hands and making a few gestures. The next moment, the waves in the sea rolled and surged. More than a dozen sky-high waves suddenly rose, and spread with tornado storms. In a short period of time, the place was like the end of the world, with wind and clouds surging and the sea water flowing back. These more than a dozen waves rushed towards Qingguang together, and the sea water inside changed and condensed into sharp and crystal ice particles. The sharpness of these ice tips is far beyond the piercing of needles. Even if a Yuanian cultivator is attacked by such an attack, he will be beaten into a sieve. Faced with such a huge wave, Qingguang remained calm and sacrificed a large bell artifact, which was suspended above his head. The large bell looked very heavy and was shrouded in a cloud of mist. It was difficult to see its true appearance and looked quite mysterious. Then, between the surging clouds and mist on the bell body, a circle of golden bell light shield stretched downward, blocking all the waves at the critical moment. The huge impact caused by the waves made the large bell light shield roar. The water stains that burst out were extremely sharp. When they fell into the sea, they directly penetrated the water for more than 100 feet, piercing some sea monsters that had no time to escape. The battle has already started, and it will definitely not stop here. Seeing that his own offensive was ineffective, Zaid looked truthless and secretly controlled 3 black flying needles. After the 3 flying needles flew out of his hand, they almost merged with the surrounding void, and then pierced into the waves and disappeared, making it difficult for people to detect their existence. This needle is called the 3 phantom shadowless needles, which is most suitable for surprise attacks, giving the enemy an unexpected effect, and is specifically used to counter the light shield type of defense. Qingguang has rich combat experience, and has killed 5 or 6 demon kings in his hands. He is very sensitive to the sneak attack of the flying needles. He once again urged the remaining power in the silver ring to cover all 3 flying needles and collect them all. This silver ring magic weapon has been brewing for decades, and the accumulated storage power is currently only the last one, which is not inexhaustible. But even so, 3 spiritual treasures were taken away in a row, which frightened Zat, and he dared not continue to use the spiritual treasures. He could only rely on magic and physical body to win. Zat continued to use his innate magical power, Red Sea Heavy Water, to condense the seawater into a huge red whale, and then opened his mouth to swallow Qingguang. The whale's mouth contained a large amount of Red Sea Heavy Water, which was extremely poisonous. If a cultivator was contaminated, he would be corroded and dissolved, which was particularly domineering. This was also the strength of the deep-sea demon whale. As long as the Red Sea Heavy Water was used, it could swallow anything. Even if it swallowed a ship, it could digest and dissolve it and turn it into its own nutrients. Qingguang sensed the power of this wave of attacks, and sacrificed a fairy sword, slashing out 3 sword beams that reached the sky, which were thousands of feet long, and cut the whale into several pieces at once, quickly disintegrating the attack. A large amount of Red Sea Heavy Water was splashed, falling like rain, dripping on the sea surface with a hissing sound, and rising with a burst of mist. Seeing that he still couldn't do anything to Qingguang, Zat had no intention of fighting at all. He used his magic skills and turned around to escape. Qingguang was not ready to let the tiger go back to the mountain. Light surged from his sleeves, releasing a large net magic weapon. After the large net appeared, it immediately split into 8 parts, wrapping up Zat from all directions. Wrapped in the 8-way demon binding net, Zat could not break free for a while, and could only use his magic power to forcefully attack and try to break a hole. He struggled several times in a row, but to no avail. Zat even wanted to transform into his original form to stretch out the restraint of the large net, but he could not transform into his original form at all and was firmly suppressed. Qingguang saw the opportunity. Success or failure depended on this move, and waved his hand to hit a small golden sword. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 903, Hunting the Demon King Again. This golden sword was only 2 fingers in size, and it was sharp and fast after it was thrown. In less than a blink of an eye, it pierced through Zat's lower abdomen and directly pierced out the nascent soul inside. The power of this sword was controlled very accurately, which was a great test of the cultivator's precise control of mana. Not a little more power to pierce the nascent soul, nor a little less power to bring out the nascent soul. After the monster transformed, the nascent soul was the demon pill, which was located in the lower abdomen. Now Zat's nascent soul was damaged, and the consciousness retained in it was no match for Qingguang. Qingguang summoned the small sword, grabbed Zat's nascent soul in his hand, and released a red and blue flame, completely obliterating Zat's consciousness. Compared with Shuang, Zat was very arrogant and did not beg for mercy. Heaven and Earth Spirit Fire. Seeing the flame in Qingguang's hand, Chen Qingyun's eyes moved. He did not recognize the specific origin of the spiritual fire, but felt that it would not be inferior to the purple and green divine flame. Just as he took a closer look, in a flash, Chen Qingyun saw Qingguang put away the spiritual fire, collected the demon pill in the big net. After Zat died, his body turned into his original appearance and floated on the sea. The corpse of this kind of Yuanying demon king is a very good material for refining ships, and can be used to make a 5th-level spiritual ship. However, Qingguang did not intend to collect it for the time being, but looked elsewhere. Since you are here, don't leave. As soon as the voice fell, the battle was not over. Qingguang urged the fairy sword to hit a seemingly calm sea surface. Just when the fairy sword approached the sea surface, a circle of shields rose on the sea surface, a black light flashed, and with a clang, the fairy sword was blocked. At the moment when Shuang was killed, Wuda of the Black Dragon Palace had quietly arrived. He wanted to lurk in the sea to pay attention to the flaws of Chen Qingyun and Xingzun, so as to launch a sneak attack. But this stay only waited until Zad was killed in a few moves, and was defeated so quickly. This made Wu De afraid to show his head, and he tried to hide, waiting for Xingzun and others to withdraw before escaping from here. Unfortunately, Xingzun's own detection-type magic weapon detected Wu De's actions early. Xingzun pretended not to notice it. Now that Zad has been eliminated, Wu De can be killed together. Wu De's body is a six-clawed three-eyed crab with the strength of the late nascent soul, which is the same level as Zad. Facing Xingzun, he can only deal with it for dozens of rounds at most, otherwise he will fall into disadvantage and only end up being killed. What's more, Chen Qingyun is still here. Before Wu De can escape, a figure quickly breaks through the air in the distance. The person who comes is the leader of Xingguang. At this time, 3 nascent soul cultivators gathered on Ningxing Island. Wu De alone can no longer stir up any waves, which caused Wu De's expression to change drastically. Zat, you really screwed me this time. There are already 3 nascent soul cultivators gathered on this small Ningxing Island. Even if I am at the late nascent soul stage, I am not capable of dealing with them all at the same time. Thinking of the cunning human cultivators and the nascent soul cultivators who are more sophisticated and thoughtful, Wu De was frightened and broke out in a cold sweat. Thinking of Xingzun's adventures on the mainland over the years, he didn't know what kind of heavenly opportunity he had obtained, and the previous silver ring magic treasure was even more peculiar. This made Wu De even more afraid, and he dared not fly out of the sea, so he could only dive into the deep sea instead. Xingzun was very decisive, pinching his fingers to cast ice attribute spells, condensing several icy divine lights into the sea. Almost in an instant, the sea area that was hit formed an ice cage, blocking the area within a radius of 10,000 meters, leaving only the sea surface for entry and exit. Chen Qingyun and Xingzun looked at each other and tacitly chose to join forces. Naturally, they would not let this Yuanying Demon King go. The leader of Xingguang sacrificed the double-edged mountain axe, and acted together with Chen Qingyun and Xingzun to start encircling Wu De. Wu De knew that he was not an opponent, but he was not willing to sit and wait for death. He directly transformed into his original form, turned into a ferocious crab of 100 feet in size, waving 6 sharp crab claws, and fiercely clamped Chen Qingyun and the other 2. The sharpness and hardness of this crab claw are comparable to spiritual treasures and are the best refining materials. Chen Qingyun dodged quickly, and then sacrificed the Tianyan double swords, slashed 6 swords in a row, successfully cut off 2 crab claws, and put them into the storage ring in one fell swoop. Wu De was injured and could no longer escape. He could only fight to the death. He targeted Chen Qingyun and determined that Chen Qingyun was the weakest among the 3. As he growled, the third eye in his head suddenly glowed with light, and a black light shot out, shooting straight at Chen Qingyun. This light was Wu De's innate magical power, which could dissolve the cultivator's body and nascent soul. Chen Qingyun dodged, and the black light fell into the sea, dissolving most of the surrounding seawater within hundreds of meters, and a pit appeared. After missing the first attack, Wu De used it again, releasing black light twice in a row, and Chen Qingyun dodged it again. The other one was blocked by Xingzun with a mirror magic treasure, which refracted the black light to other places. This forced Wu De to prepare for another attack, dive into the sea, and try to launch a sneak attack to win. It's a pity that Wu De only has the cultivation of the nascent soul stage, but in terms of intelligence, he is far inferior to Xingzun and others. He is a simple-minded and well-developed type. The 3 nascent soul cultivators joined forces, and the battle lasted less than 20 rounds. Wu De had no way to escape and was soon beheaded by Chen Qingyun with a single sword. Then, the Xingguang sect master's double-edged mountain-splitting axe fell from the sky, splitting Wu De in half and completely putting an end to the monster. So far, the threat of the beast tied on Ningxing Island has been completely lifted, and the remaining monsters on the island have been cleaned up. 2 demon kings from the Black Dragon Palace and 1 from the Demon Ancestor Palace were wiped out here. Although the battle was tense, everyone rushed here to provide support. Fortunately, Chen Qingyun turned the tide and reversed the situation. This subsequent victory was inevitable. Back on Ningxing Island, Under the order of Xingzun, Ancestor Yuan, the head of Yaoang Mountain and others began to clean up the battlefield and stayed here temporarily. Now that the threat of the three Yuanying demon kings is gone, this battle in the Xinghai monster tide is much easier, and a better battle plan can be made in the future to resist this Xinghai monster tide. Chen Qingyun made a stunning debut this time, showing his Yuanying stage strength, which made Chen Qingyun continue to be the focus of everyone. Fairy Dinxian, old ancestor Yuan, the head of Yaoang Mountain, and others who had originally addressed Chen Qingyun as a fellow Taoist, now changed their words and addressed him as Senior Chen. Fairy Dinxian's eyes lit up, and she tried to get closer to Chen Qingyun. She and Taoist Mu came forward to congratulate him, saying things like congratulations on Senior Chen's reaching the nascent soul stage. Among these people, the one who was most shocked was Taoist Mu. Chapter 904 Taking the Initiative. Looking at Chen Qingyun's current strength, Mu Daoren's heart was hard to calm down. He felt like he was dreaming, which seemed extremely unreal. He really didn't understand when he and Chen Qingyun, Luohuzi and others explored the ruins of the Five Elements sect. At that time, Chen Qingyun still showed the strength of the peak of the Golden Cord. How come Chen Qingyun has been promoted to the nascent soul stage in just over 20 years? I didn't hear about it when I stayed at the Chen family before. Could it be that after I left Lingjian Island, Chen Qingyun retreated with the Phantomwood Spirit Infant and condensed the nascent soul in one fell swoop? Mu Daoren thought to himself, and could only think of this result. Originally, he was going to ask to confirm whether this idea was correct, but he quickly rejected it. Not right, not right. With so many people present, it's better not to cause trouble. We are bound by the agreement, and it's not good to expose the existence of the Phantomwood Spirit Infant. Whatever you saw and heard in the Five Elements sect ruins, keep it deep in your heart. After all, I have worked with Chen Qingyun. Although we are not close friends, we are not enemies. His breakthrough to the nascent soul stage is not bad for me. Mu Daoren thought about it quickly, and could only be shocked and puzzled secretly. He was very tactful and did not ask Chen Qingyun about this matter. If he knew that Chen Qingyun's strength was not just as simple as breaking through the nascent soul. He even reached the middle stage of the nascent soul, he would be shocked. Chen Qingyun didn't know about Mu Daoren's thoughts. Seeing that the other party just simply congratulated him and kept silent about the question of why he formed a baby, this saved him from having to explain more. After dealing with several giant and cultivators for a while, Chen Qingyun was invited by Xingzun to gather with the leader of Xingzong in the tent. Haha, my Xinghai is really a land of outstanding people and talents. Fellow Taoist Chen has achieved the nascent soul at such a young age, and has the strength of the middle stage of the nascent soul. This really makes Chen admire him. Tracing back to the origin, you and I are actually from the same family, both of us are the blood of the Chen family. Xingzun said with a smile, and took the initiative to get closer to Chen Qingyun. While secretly investigating Chen Qingyun's strength, he found that it was not just as simple as the middle stage of the nascent soul. With the foundation of the heavenly vein nascent soul, it can be clearly detected that the nascent soul condensed by Chen Qingyun is definitely not a human vein or a ground vein nascent soul. It is a kind of similar to the heavenly vein nascent soul, but with some differences. This surprised Xingzun. He thought of something, but did not say it in person. In response to Xingzun's praise, Chen Qingyun just made a few polite remarks. This Xingzun is a legendary figure in Xinghai, and has been passed down by word of mouth. So the other party's origin, surname and name, are not a secret in Xinghai. Xingzun's original name was Chen Xingsu. He was a native cultivator from Xinghai. He was famous when he opened up Xinghai before Xingzong was established. After he founded Xingzong and protected Xinghai, he began to go down in history and then left Xinghai. If we really want to trace back more than 1,000 years of history, the Chen family and Xinghai has more or less some kind of relationship. Chen Qingyun did not comment on this, and would not rely on this to win over Xingzun to protect the Chen family. He could do it now. This also applies to the leader of Xingzong, who would not deliberately curry favor with him. When he heard that Chen Qingyun's strength had reached the middle stage of Yuanying, The leader of Xingzong was not calm, staring at Chen Qingyun carefully, as if he wanted to see flowers. Both of them were old hands, and seeing that Chen Qingyun had no intention of talking about his cultivation in detail, they naturally would not ask. As long as Chen Qingyun's heart was still on Xinghai and the Chen family was still in Xinghai, it would definitely be a good thing to have so many such strong men standing on their side. After the pleasantries were over, thinking that the current battle situation could not be delayed, Xingzun changed the topic and began to discuss the next battle direction. I won't say much about these nice words. Fellow Taoist Chen's ears are probably calloused. With fellow Taoist Chen's great assistance this time, it will be much easier for us to resist the monster tide. Xingzun smiled faintly and mentioned the current battle situation. Let's get back to the point. This time, there are a total of 7 monster kings sent by the Black Dragon Palace, the Demon Ancestor Palace, and the Divine Water Palace, and we only have 4 nascent soul cultivators. Originally, it was an extremely difficult test for us in Xinghai to fight against this monster tide. Fortunately, fellow Taoist Chen showed up this time. Xingzun briefly introduced it, and then went straight to the point, took out a Xinghai battle map, and pointed to several marked points on it one by one. At present, the 2 demon kings sent by the Black Dragon Palace, including one from the Demon Ancestor Palace, have been eliminated. There are still 2 from the Divine Water Palace and 2 from the Demon Ancestor Palace. According to the latest intelligence, the 2 from the Demon Ancestor Palace are still lurking in the Eastern War Zone. The 2 from the Divine Water Palace are in the Western and Northern War Zones respectively. Now that we have 5 Yuanying cultivators on our side, we don't have to be in a passive defense state against the 4 demon kings. This time, why don't we take the initiative and hunt down the remaining 4 demon kings first? What do you think? As soon as Xingzun asked, the leader of Xingzong nodded in agreement. The demon king of the Demon Ancestor Palace has successively harmed Bain Island, Yaohang Mountain and Nangxing Island. There are also several spiritual islands in the Eastern War Zone, which have almost suffered a devastating blow. Now that the time is ripe, we must settle the accounts. We Xinghai cultivators are not so easy to bully. Seeing the response from the Xingzong leader, Chen Qingyun agreed in his heart. He had intended to kill a few more Yuanying demon kings, and now that he had the chance, he would never let it go. It just so happened that he didn't have to worry about the problem of having too few Yuanying cultivators on his side and not being able to take care of the south after attacking the east. Chen Qingyun nodded slowly. Okay. After getting Chen Qingyun's consent, Xingzun struck while the iron was hot and pointed to the 2 war zones in the west and the north. At present, Hongling is stationed in the western war zone, and my elders are stationed in the north. There is a demon king of Shinshui Mansion in each of these 2 places. In the eastern war zone, there are 2 demon kings from the Demon Ancestor Hall, who are the key targets for elimination. As for the Penglai Immortal Realm, it has the ability to contain the other demon kings of the 3 parties of the Black Dragon Palace, so we don't need to worry about it. So, our current goal is to find a way to eliminate the remaining 4 demon kings, so that this can end this demon tide war earlier. Xingzun began to think about who would fight against which demon king. Considering that Chen Qingyun's cultivation was in the middle stage of the nascent soul, Xingzun glanced at the Xingzong sect master and said, "The 2 demon kings in the Eastern Theater will be taken care of by me and the sect master. As for the Western Theater, you will take action, fellow Taoist Chen, and just need to temporarily contain the opponent. After we clear the demon king in the Eastern Theater and complete this operation, we will finally join forces to clear the demon kings in the Western and Northern Theaters." Chapter 905 Waiting for the Rabbit. The 4 demon kings are now making some moves and causing chaos. According to Xingzun's opinion, in order to be safe and not let the demon king have a chance to escape, it was decided to let Chen Qingyun hold the demon king. Chen Qingyun had no objection to this, as long as he could contact the demon king. He would be sure to kill him. Now it was time to hunt the Demon King. The 3 of them had a clear division of labor. In order not to alert the enemy, they would take action in secret and kill the Demon King by surprise. Chen Qingyun flew away from Nangsing Island that day, took the teleportation array on Longkui Island, and secretly arrived at Luchuan Island. This Luchuan Island is located in the Western Theater and is one of the 3 major teleportation array islands on the second frontier, as famous as the other Ling and Ligang Islands. Since Chen Qingyun came secretly, only the Red Spirit Ancestor knew the news, so it did not attract attention. After leaving the teleportation array and taking out the communication talisman given by Xingzong, Chen Qingyun contacted the Red Spirit Ancestor. After meeting with him secretly, he learned that there was a Demon King of the Divine Water Mansion causing chaos around Ling Island. This Demon King is called Hai Meng, and his cultivation is in the middle stage of the nascent soul. His body is a poisonous toad. He is best at using toxins to pollute the surrounding sea and land to launch large-scale attacks. Although the Red Spirit Ancestor has the Tanlao Demon Suppression Ring in his hand, which can rival the demon beasts in the middle stage of the nascent soul, he still sticks to his position and does not move around casually. Moreover, this Hai Meng is very cunning and will not attack openly like Shuang and Zaid. Instead, he likes to make surprise attacks in the wild, which is particularly troublesome for the Red Spirit Ancestor. One of the innate magical powers of this poisonous toad is that it can play a short-term invisible effect, completely restraining its breath and blending into the surrounding environment. The Ancestor has sent me a message saying that we will temporarily contain Hai Meng and guard the 2 important islands of Ling and Ligang. I didn't expect that. As a fellow cultivator of the Chen family, your ability far exceeds King Feng and my elder Ancestor. Hong Ling was a little emotional, thinking of the previous cooperation with Chen Qingyun, going to the Sea of Turbulence to clean up the evil cultivators of Jian Island, when they were both giant and cultivators. If it weren't for Xingzun's assistance this time, she really wouldn't have had the opportunity to break through to the nascent soul. Unexpectedly, Chen Qingyun was even better than her and condensed the nascent soul by himself. Hong Ling Deu is too kind. Chen just broke through by luck. Chen Qingyun smiled, and was still inclined to win over Ancestor Hong Ling to maintain this network for the Chen family. After a brief conversation, the two began to discuss how to deal with Hai Meng and paid close attention to the movements of this Demon King. Soon, a message came from the secret sentry of Xingzong, saying that Hai Meng had appeared thousands of miles away from Ling Island about an incense stick of time ago. However, when we went to investigate again, there was no trace of Hai Meng in the original place. We didn't know whether he had gone far away or was hiding in the original place. The 3 parties of Black Dragon Palace, Shinshui Mansion, and Demon Ancestor Palace seemed to be working together, but because they were hostile, any one of them would not easily inform the other 2 parties of the news if the Demon Queen was killed. They even hoped that the other party would lose 1 or 2 Demon Kings because of the wrong news. Therefore, in this short period of 1 or 2 days, Hai Meng did not know that the 3 great demons of Shuang had been killed. Chen Qingyun seized the opportunity and secretly released the 4 Yuanying clones of Jiuyu, Bang, Haitian, and Hanbing, and distributed them around Ling Island in advance, waiting for Hai Meng to fall into the trap. The Red Spirit Ancestor followed Chen Qingyun's intention and openly announced to the outside world that he was stationed in other surrounding spiritual islands. The spies from the demon cultivators could also find out about her whereabouts. After waiting for more than 10 days, Hai Meng finally appeared around Ling Island and began to attack the island. Ling Island has a large amount of supplies stored, and it is a strategic hub in the Western Theater. There are 1 giant and cultivator from Wuan Island and Lingbao Mountain stationed there, with a total of more than 4,900 cultivators. Hai Meng emerged from the sea and was about to break through the 4th level formation on Ling Island and completely destroy the spiritual island. The next moment, he was restrained by Jiuyu in the sea. Jiuyu controlled the sea dividing flag and mobilized the power of the infinite sea, turning it into several water walls, which gathered into an underwater cage to lock Hai Meng in. Hai Meng saw that his whereabouts were exposed, and he was not worried at all. He simply turned the sea upside down, raising huge waves that swept towards Ling Island. The sea dividing flag can mobilize the law of water. When it is used in the sea, It can already firmly suppress the Yuanying Demon King. As soon as the huge waves rose, the water wall in the sea surged again, rising further from the ground, firmly resisting these huge waves, causing the sea surface to surge violently. As the initiator, Hai Meng stood steadily in the sea without being affected by the waves, and turned into his original form, staring at Jiayu with a pair of blood-red eyes. Jiayu's strength was in the middle stage of the nascent soul, and he did not restrain his cultivation, which made Hai Meng wonder who Jiayu was. "Who are you, and why are you here?" Worried that this time he would alarm the secluded nascent soul cultivator, Hai Meng still asked a question. If this is really the case, he will choose to retreat and not continue to stir up trouble here. This has already been done. Chen Qingyun has no mind to introduce himself. Jiayu continued to use the sea dividing flag, controlling a large amount of seawater to turn into 99 and 81 ice swords, and hit Hai Meng all at once. Hai Meng unfolded a shell magic treasure, enlarged it, and protected himself in it, blocking the attack of these ice swords. Jiayu only played a role of distraction. Chen Qingyun held the golden rainbow bow and shot out a golden rainbow divine light, which hit the shell magic weapon with a bang, breaking it into pieces. This low-grade spiritual treasure instantly became damaged, which shocked Hai Meng and made him realize that he had hit a wall this time. He actually stopped fighting and turned around to escape, fearing that he would attract the red spirit ancestor. Bang, who was ambushing in the sea, had already been ready to go. He used the Thunderwood Pearl, causing waves of green light to rise around him, and transformed into 8 identical beads. These 8 Thunderwood Pearls surrounded Hai Meng in all directions, and suddenly released a bunch of green thunder vines, which bound Hai Meng's limbs, head and torso. The thunder power released from the green thunder vines can directly have a great impact on demons and monsters. Facing this kind of attack, Hai Meng couldn't resist at all. He let out a shrill scream, but he was still trapped in the blockade of the water wall, with no escape. The sea god and the ice clone also acted at the same time. The former held the love ring in his hand and threw it, and the love ring enveloped Hai Meng, further binding him and firmly fixing him on the sea surface. The latter fanned the 9-flame fan in his hand, and with a whoosh, a blazing flame was fanned out, covering Hai Meng. Chapter 906 Red Dragon Island attacked. Faced with the attack and restraint of the green thunder vine, Hai Meng was temporarily unable to escape, and with the blockade and entanglement of the affection ring, he was trapped in a jaw and had no way to escape. Now he was facing the flame attack again, and he screamed in pain all of a sudden, and had no power to resist at all. At the critical moment, 3 golden rainbow divine lights burst out, and Chen Qingyun fired 3 arrows in succession, hitting Hai Meng in succession, directly killing this Yuanying Demon King. Facing 4 Yuanying clones, including the late Yuanying Bang, and the siege attacks of many top spiritual treasures, even the peak Yuanying cultivators were a little overwhelmed. This Demon King of the Divine Water Mansion did not resist for long, and was quickly wiped out by Chen Qingyun and fell into the sea. As soon as the battle was over, the Red Spirit Ancestor and others were welcomed by the battle momentum here, and they also observed the battle situation here, and were still surprised that the battle was over so quickly. Did Hai Meng run away or kill him? Arriving at the battle scene, wanting to take a closer look, the Red Spirit Ancestor saw only a 5th-level demon pill and a storage bag flying from the sea, landing accurately in Chen Qingyun's hands. Nascent Soul Demon Pill. The aura of the 5th-level demon pill was too obvious, and the Red Spirit Ancestor could identify it at a glance, and couldn't help showing surprise. After killing Hai Meng, Chen Qingyun did not rush to send a message to inform Xingzhen and others of the news. The Red Spirit Ancestor and the others would notify. The most important thing now is to continue hunting the Demon King. Chen Qingyun did not check the spoils for the time being. After collecting Hai Meng's corpse, he informed the Red Spirit Ancestor and began to inquire about the situation in the Northern Theater. The Red Spirit Ancestor saw Chen Qingyun's strength and admired him, and immediately shared the information he knew. Chen Qingyun learned from this that the Demon King in the Northern Theater was still active, and there was only one of them. The Red Spirit Patriarch suggested, It's the Demon King Suotai of the Divine Water House. Now why don't we act together, and with Elder Zhao, we have 3 nascent soul cultivators who can kill the Demon King with our own hands. No need, you stay here. Chen Qingyun refused the Red Spirit Patriarch's companionship. In terms of strength, he was not afraid of Suotai, and he could just use his nascent soul clone to encircle and suppress him. This kind of dumpling-like fighting method is what he is best at present. That day, Chen Qingyun chose to take the teleportation array directly on Ling Island and teleported to the Northern Theater in one fell swoop. This is the Zhongshan Islands, which is an island of the same combat level as Hanli Island and Ling Island. The difference is that it is composed of 36 small islands. This time, Chen Qingyun did not greet the Supreme Elder of Xingzong in advance and inform him that he was coming. He was preparing for a surprise attack, for fear of alerting the enemy and scaring off Suotai. Due to his great success in Nangxing Island, many cultivators in the northern war zone have heard of Chen Qingyun's name, and their morale has become particularly high. As soon as Chen Qingyun arrived, he was recognized by Han Wu and Qian Daoran, who were stationed here. Out of respect for the strong, knowing that the gap in strength was too big, Han Wu and others did not come forward to talk, but only smiled and greeted from a distance. The fellows who once competed together in the secluded Immortal Palace have now achieved a rapid increase in cultivation and achieved the position of Yuanying cultivators, which made Han Wu and others feel ashamed and realize that there was a huge gap between them. Similarly, this also attracted a lot of fans who wanted to get close to Chen Qingyun. If they could become Taoist partners, even being a concubine would be great. Chen Qingyun met with the Supreme Elder of Xingzong alone and asked about Suotai's recent movements. It was learned that the other party's most recent activity was in the sea area more than 100,000 miles away, killing more than 300 cultivators and annexing a batch of transport supplies. In order not to alert the enemy, Chen Qingyun openly announced that he had left the Zhongshan Islands, but secretly left Baoang here to lurk. The rest of Han Bing, Jiuyu, and the sea god clones were lurking in the sea area of hundreds of thousands of miles, waiting for Suotai to show up. On the other side, the Eastern Theater. After learning that Shuang and the 2 demon kings of the Black Dragon Palace were killed, Liao and the Red Shark Cave Master realized the crisis, began to put aside their grudges, and joined forces to take action. The 2 demons were active around the Red Dragon Island, preparing to destroy the spiritual island and vent their dissatisfaction. After venting, they fled and retreated to the 10,000 Demon Sea. After that, this Starseed demon tide had nothing to do with them. That was the day when the Red Dragon Island was hit by an unprecedented crisis. The 2 demon kings gathered more than 30,000 demon beasts, ready to have a big reckoning and fight the biggest battle, hoping to break the defense line of the Eastern Theater at one time. This beast tide came fiercely, and there were 10 golden core demon kings. On Red Dragon Island, the monks on the watchtower and even the spies on the front line discovered the movement of this huge beast tide and immediately sent out an emergency message. The beast tide is coming. The beast tide is coming. Liao and the Red Shark Cave Master did not hide their tracks. They brutally killed the Xinghai monks who did not have time to escape along the way and soon landed on Red Dragon Island. The 4th level formation on Red Dragon Island, the Fiery Sky Spear formation, only blocked for a moment before being forcibly cracked by Liao and shattered. Liu Zilin, Chen Qingyun and others stationed on the island received the news. Knowing that they were not strong enough, they did not choose to fight blindly. They could only retreat quickly and escape for their lives. Liu Zilin sacrificed a flying sword and killed a giant and early-stage demon king who blocked the road, and fled towards Hanli Island with Chen Qingyun, and others. Chen Qingyun's strength is giant in stage, with the ability to protect himself, and he assisted and protected the family monks around him. Chen Daoran was a refined person. He didn't care about hiding at this time. He used the Tanbao technique to release the 5th level puppet and took the lead in protecting Chen Qingyun, Chen Qingyun, and Liu Zilin, 3 younger generations. A large number of monsters roared and rushed towards the Red Dragon Island. They were densely packed, and there were many monster birds that covered the sky and launched terror strikes. This battle was the largest beast tide faced since this expedition. There were 2 Yuan demon kings involved. The scale of this beast tide could no longer be described as a first-level beast tide. The offensive launched by the Red Shark Cave Master and Liao between their gestures was invincible on the island. In just a dozen breaths, more than 100 cultivators were easily wiped out. Lingbao Mountain and Xingzong suffered the most casualties. If everyone hadn't started to flee separately, there would have been more cultivators killed. You are all ants. What's the point of running now? I will eat you all alive and kill you all. The Lord of the Red Shark Cave laughed and manipulated a mace magic weapon, which turned into a mountain and hit the Red Dragon Island. The entire Red Dragon Island shook violently, and several cracks that spread nearly 10,000 feet were smashed out, as if there was an earthquake. Dozens of monks who didn't have time to dodge were killed by this club. Liao used a thunder and lightning attack and slapped forward. Accompanied by a few rumbling sounds, more than a dozen thunders spread out, covering the world with a posture of bearing fangs and claws. Chapter 907 Yu Lingshu takes action. Under Liao's attack, the dozen or so thunderbolts exploded and spread around. This caused the area of 30,000 to 40,000 meters to be covered by the thunderbolt's attack, turning it into a sea of thunder. This attack directly wiped out more than 60 cultivators, including 3 purple mansion cultivators, causing endless wailing and a smell of coke. 6 members of the Chen family were affected and died in the thunderbolt. Ha ha ha, you are just bugs, where can you run to? Liao was arrogant and locked the direction of Chen Qingyun, Chen Qingyun and others. He found that these people were the strongest and were the targets that needed to be cleared. He used thunderbolt again, and with a crackling sound, 3 thunderbolts as thick as arms suddenly shot out, directly striking Chen Qingyun and others 1,000 meters away. Just before he made this attack, a figure quietly appeared, glanced at Liao coldly, and raised his hand to hit a small green tripod. The small green tripod arrived in an instant, protecting Chen Qingyun and suddenly growing larger, steadily resisting the wave of thunder attacks, preventing Chen Qingyun from being affected at all. Chen Qingyun, who had originally released the 8-direction holy armor talisman and a shield magic weapon to protect herself, felt something strange behind her and couldn't help but look back. When she looked back, she saw the small green tripod floating in front of her, releasing a stream of blue water from it, turning into a shining vermilion bird, and pounced in front of Liao. Facing this sudden attack, Liao felt an extreme danger approaching and felt the breath of death. What trick? He was shocked, and before he could resist, his body was hit by the blue vermilion bird, and in the blink of an eye, he turned into an ice sculpture and was wiped out on the spot. Liao. Seeing his accomplice die in this sudden move, the Red Shark Cave Master's expression changed drastically. He realized that there were still masters hiding here, and he broke out in a cold sweat. He really didn't expect that Liao, a demon king in the middle stage of the nascent soul, was taken down in one move without even seeing the face of the attacker. Not only the Red Shark Cave Master, but Chen Qingyun also opened his mouth in surprise at this moment. So powerful. When Chen Qingyun looked again, he saw that the green small tripod turned in the air, containing a hazy light, and hit the Red Shark Cave Master again. Not good. The Red Shark Cave Master didn't dare to resist at all, and turned around to escape. Unfortunately, the green small tripod was so fast that it hit him in one go. The same scene appeared, and the second ice sculpture appeared. The scene happened in a flash. When Chen Daoran, Chen Qingyun and others reacted, they found that the 2 arrogant demon kings had been killed. Even an old hand like Chen Daoran couldn't help but look around with his eyes wide open, wanting to see which senior came to the rescue. The shock brought by this kind of strength has far exceeded Chen Daoran's imagination. After resolving the crisis for Chen Qingyun, Yu Lingshu never showed up and quietly disappeared. The green cauldron continued to move, and then 9 green lights flew out from the mouth of the cauldron, hitting the 9-headed giant and demon kings around very accurately, killing them all at once. After killing 2 Yuan demon kings and 9-headed giant and demon beasts in succession, The green cauldron stopped and turned into a ray of light and fell into the sea, disappearing. In just a moment, the biggest threat was eliminated. Many cultivators had not yet reacted. When they looked again, they saw that the two arrogant demon kings had been killed on the spot, and turned into two ice sculptures standing on the ground. Their expressions still maintained fear and trepidation. What happened? Which senior took action? To be able to do this, to kill the nascent soul demon king with one blow, made many people gasp and feel incredible. The demon king has been killed, no need to be afraid. Everyone, please follow me to clean up the monsters. Chen Qingyun was the first to come to his senses. Knowing that this was not the time to be shocked, he shouted and called on everyone to act quickly. After hearing this, Chen Qingyun and Chen Qingyun withdrew the shock on their faces and urged the magic tools to hit some monsters around. Now, there are only monsters from the Qi refining stage to the Purple Mansion stage. Even though there are many monsters, with the help of several giant and cultivators, this battle can be won steadily. Originally, they were in a situation of being beaten and fleeing, but now it has turned around and the monsters are at a disadvantage. Chen Qingyun, Chen Qingyun, and a group of Chen family cultivators joined forces with cultivators from all sides to fight back and hunt down this beast. In order to save the best spirit stones, Chen Qingyun temporarily stopped using the 5th level puppets to fight. He was very cautious and took them with him to prevent emergencies and facilitate timely rescue. Chen Qingyun sacrificed a water-based flying sword, cut out a cold water sword energy, and cut the two Purple Mansion monsters in half. Then he used the moves in the Heavenly River Heavy Water Sutra again, and used a ray of Tan Heavy Water to transform into 12 flying needles, which easily pierced more than a dozen monsters. These heavy water flying needles were extremely flexible in the air, coming and going freely. Wherever they went, the monsters could not resist at all and became lambs to be slaughtered. Liu Zilin was stronger, and no monster around could do anything to her. In addition to fighting, she did not forget to cast a golden elixir shield to protect Qingyun. In less than an hour, about 90% of the more than 30,000 monsters were eliminated, and the remaining ones became stray dogs and fled into the sea, and they were no longer a force to be reckoned with. After the battle on Red Dragon Island, even Xingzun and Xingzong sect master were surprised by the result of the battle. The two demon kings, Red Shark Cave Master and Liao, died on Red Dragon Island and were killed. When Chen Qingyun received the news, he thought of Chen Qingyun and others stationed on Red Dragon Island, and his heart tightened. He quickly sent a message to Chen Qingyun. Fortunately, Qingyun gave a reply, telling him that he and Qingyun were fine, but the family lost several cultivators in this battle. Chen Qingyun asked about who killed the two demons, Red Shark Cave Master and Liao. With a 5th level puppet, without the control of top spiritual treasures and the use of skills and magical powers, it is naturally impossible to fight against two Yuanying demon kings at the same time. But what people did not expect was that there were masters hidden on Red Dragon Island who could kill two Yuanying middle stage demon kings in 1 or 2 moves. And from the news released by Xingzun and Xingzong sect master, it was not them who made the move. Then who is this person who made the move, and what kind of strength does he need to have? At least he must be in the late nascent soul stage. Moreover, from the information sent back by Qingyun, she did not see the appearance of the person who made the move, but only saw a small green tripod. Chapter 908 Puppet Clones, Hunting Down the Demon King. A small blue tripod, which nascent soul cultivator in the Star Sea uses this kind of spiritual treasure. Could it be someone from the Penglai Immortal Realm? Chen Qingyun was puzzled. At least on the surface, he had not heard of any nascent soul cultivator in the Star Sea Immortal Realm using a small blue tripod. The 3 red spirit ancestors had just entered the nascent soul stage, and they were still using the spiritual treasures bestowed by the Star Lord. I had witnessed the Star Lord take action before, but he had never used a tripod-type magic weapon. The tripod of all things I used had the greatest effect of collecting all things, which was quite unique. This was also the only nascent soul cultivator in the Star Sea Immortal Realm who used a tripod-shaped spiritual treasure. I couldn't figure it out for the time being. Chen Qingyun guessed that the person who took action was not a Star Sea cultivator, but might have come from the 10,000 Monsters Sea, or other seas. Let's see what the Star Lord and the others think later. Fortunately, King Luan and the others were fine. The crisis of Red Dragon Island was resolved, and 2 more Yuanying demon kings were eliminated at once, without Xingzun and Xingzong sect master having to take action. This result was still very unexpected. Waiting for the opportunity around Zhongshan Islands, on the 3rd day, the Sea God clone found clues about Suotai. At this time, Suotai learned from the Xinghai insider that the 3 demons of the Demon Ancestor Hall, Liao, Shuang, and the Red Shark Cave Master, had been eliminated, and even Hai Meng, Zate, and Wu Hai all had the same fate. So far, only he, the Demon King, has survived, and Suotai has the idea of retreating. These human cultivators are really cunning. They actually hid their nascent soul cultivators and played this trick of showing weakness. Now that I don't have the assistance of Hai Meng and the others to contain me, if I encounter multiple nascent soul cultivators besieging me, my fate will definitely not be good. In order to save my life, I'd better not get involved here. The life and death of those little monsters have nothing to do with me. I'd better leave here as soon as possible. After thinking about it, Suotai immediately gave up the idea of staying and turned around to escape from the Star Sea and return to the Divine Water Mansion. There is no need to care about how the subsequent Star Sea monster tide will be fought. I found you. After discovering Suotai's trace, Chen Qingyun secretly controlled Bawang, Jiuyu and other clones to start hunting Suotai and set up a heavy encirclement. Suotai's speed of moving in the sea is not fast, but he likes to take detours and sneak around, deliberately avoiding the spies arranged by the Star Sea. Not long after, a fierce battle broke out between the 2 sides 90,000 miles away from the Zhongshan Islands. Chen Qingyun used the 5 elements sky escape several times in a row, and cooperated with the clone to escape in the sea, successfully intercepting Suotai and blocking him at the border of the Star Sea and the Sea of Thousand Monsters. Suotai's original body is immune to with the strength of the late nascent soul, which has an innate combat advantage in the sea. If there is a disadvantage, it is that it is far inferior to Shuang and the Lord of the Red Shark Cave in terms of speed. It is a kind of monster with thick skin and flesh. He swung a black sledgehammer and smashed it hard at the Sea God clone. The space seemed to explode wherever it passed, and the momentum was overwhelming. The Sea God clone used the water magic, turned into several streams of water and scattered, avoiding this attack. The ice clone held a golden rainbow bow and shot out a golden rainbow divine light, which hit the black sledgehammer and shook it out of Suotai's palm. Suotai was shocked and felt pain in his palm. He glared at the ice clone angrily, and then recalled the sledgehammer to smash the ice clone to pieces. At this time, a beam of precious light broke through the air and hit the sledgehammer in the blink of an eye. The sledgehammer itself was only a low-grade spiritual treasure. When it was hit by the precious light released by the Cauldron of All Things, it had no power to resist. It fell into the Cauldron of All Things with a whoosh, and was isolated from the control of divine thoughts. Not long after the battle started, the treasure was taken away. Suotai waved his arms angrily and slapped his chest, and waved his fists at the ice clone. Bawang, who had been lurking, suddenly made a move, waving the 9-flame fan, fanning out a hurricane of fire, and blew Suotai back more than 10 feet away with a whoosh. Jiuyu and the Sea God clone followed Bawang on the left and right and launched an offensive. At this moment, the 4 Yuanying clones came out together, formed an encirclement formation and launched a spiritual treasure attack. Sky-high flames, golden rainbow divine light, green thunder vines, and majestic waves. Each of these attacks was performed by top-notch spiritual treasures, causing the world to roar, mixed with Suotai's roars, and was knocked into the sea from time to time. Chen Qingyun decided to fight quickly this time, and released a group of puppets, holding tridents, mobilizing the power of the sea to contain. A large number of tridents transformed in the air, transformed into more than 10,000 handles, combined into an overwhelming force, falling like rain, stabbing Suotai, causing Suotai to dodge and panic. At the same time, the puppets used tridents to form a water formation, and moved the seawater to wrap around Suotai, with waves stacked up, one wave higher than the other. More than a dozen large tornadoes and fierce winds were formed, and in an instant, the wind and clouds were surging, and the waves were surging. The world has changed in this area of 100 miles, and the destructive power that has erupted is no less than a large sky wind. Some monsters in the sea were swept away by the residual power, some fled, and more were torn into pieces. It was easy for Yuanying cultivator to destroy 100 miles of sea area. This emperor no longer wants to get involved in the Star Sea. Why do you have to chase me here? It's better to let me go back, so as not to be retaliated by my divine water palace in the future. After a few rounds of fighting, Suotai realized that he was outnumbered and would be exhausted to death if he continued like this, so he couldn't help but threaten Chen Qingyun. He didn't know who was the leader among these opponents, so he could only amplify his voice and resound throughout the entire sea area. Chen Qingyun didn't take Suotai's threat seriously at all, and used the Tianyan double swords to knock Suotai into the sea with 2 swords. 50 puppets, plus several Yuanyings acting together, this force, let alone fighting against a Yuanying demon king, even 2 or 3 have a chance of winning. After only 12 rounds, Suotai fell into a disadvantage and was tortured to death by top spiritual treasures such as the sea-dividing flag, the golden rainbow bow, and the thunderwood pearl. He dodged this attack, and the next attack followed, accompanied by the restraint of the surrounding puppets, making Suotai wish he had 3 heads and 6 arms. Although the puppets were not strong, they could come and go quickly in the sea and turn into water to merge into the sea water. Suotai tried to kill the puppet several times, but was blocked by the attacks of several Yuanying clones, and he couldn't free his hands to attack other places. Who are you? Which cultivators from Xinghai, or mermaids? Suotai was abused to the point of doubting his life. He realized that he was no match for Chen Qingyun. Before he died, he wanted to find out Chen Qingyun's specific origin so that he could send a message to Shinshui Mansion to avenge himself. Chapter 909, Kill Again. In Suotai's opinion, each of these 4 cultivators holding top-grade spiritual treasures is like a fish in water and very difficult to deal with. The cultivators around them are holding tridents, and they seem to be from the mermaids. Otherwise, who would have so many tridents in hand? This thing is a unique magic weapon of the mermaids. Outsiders cannot refine it. There are not many tridents in the Shinshui Palace. Being mistaken by the other party as a mermaid cultivator, Chen Qingyun's eyes condensed, but he did not speak to correct it. Mermaids. Then let's call it the mermaids. As long as the purpose of cleaning is achieved, it's fine. Chen Qingyun collected the Tianyan double swords, controlled the sea god's envoy Lei Muzu to restrain Suotai, and the purple and green divine flames in his hand surged, condensing into a lotus of annihilation fire. Once this kind of heaven and earth spiritual fire appeared in the world, it immediately attracted Suotai's attention, and it would be restrained by the power of fire attribute. How come you still have the heaven and earth spirit fire in your hand? Who are you? Suotai was shocked and tried to break free from the restraint of the Lei Muzu. But the next second, many puppets launched an attack, and chains made of seawater quickly wrapped around them, which were as hard as their own magic weapons. This kind of restraint would not have a fatal effect on the nascent soul cultivators, and at most it would restrain them for 1 or 2 seconds. But this time was enough to decide the outcome. Chen Qingyun saw the opportunity, and the silence fire lotus in his hand emitted a blazing flame, and then he threw it straight at Suotai with a flick of his hand. At this time, Suotai had transformed into his original appearance, appearing as a black ape about 3 or 4 feet in size, with a very majestic and terrifying appearance, which only made people feel terrified. The silent fire lotus contained the power of the nascent soul level, and with its own power superimposed, it was enough to severely damage the opponent in the late nascent soul stage. Suotai's own shortcomings would be restrained by the fire attribute. Now he was restrained and could not break free in 1 or 2 seconds. Not only that, Several puppets were performing the woodvine technique in the upper, lower, left and right positions. More than a dozen arm-thick vines swept over and tightly bound Suotai's limbs and torso. These vines were tough and flexible, like a spider web, binding Suotai in the air. No. In Suotai's horrified eyes, the silence fire lotus arrived in an instant, exploded, and was quickly affected by the explosion and melted away. Even the powerful nascent soul body, under such a destructive explosion, was like pig iron being melted at high temperature. With Suotai as the center, the surrounding area of several hundred meters turned into a small sun, surging with rolling heat waves, and a mushroom cloud was about to rise. Before the scorching flames melted away, a demon pill broke away from the body and fled into the sea. It must be said that the nascent soul demon king is very difficult to kill. If it weren't for the thunderwood beads restraining Suotai and preventing him from teleporting his nascent soul, this fire lotus of extinction wouldn't have been able to hit him. But even after this attack, Suotai still managed to save his nascent soul, and his storage ring flew out of the sea of fire, and plunged into the sea. Chen Qingyun was well prepared, and the Cauldron of All Things took action in advance, shooting out 2 beams of precious light in succession, one in front and one behind. Suotai avoided the first beam of precious light and was about to plunge into the sea, but was then locked by the second beam of precious light and hit. What is this? He was shocked and found that he had temporarily lost the ability to escape. He was struggling to continue to escape by inertia, and the next moment he was taken into the Cauldron of All Things. Chen Qingyun had already practiced this whole process of killing and collecting on demon cultivators such as Qingguang. With a thought, the purple-green divine flame that had long been hidden in the Cauldron of All Things showed its power again, quickly wrapping Suotai's demon pill layer by layer and refining the consciousness in it. How dare you kill me? How dare you kill me? Suotai felt fear, lost his mind at the moment of death, and began to roar. Whether you are Xinghai monks or mermaids, Shinshui Mansion will never let you go. I will never let you go. The voice lasted for a few seconds and then quickly dissipated. Suotai's consciousness was wiped out by the purple and green divine flames, and a storage ring was spit out from the demon pill and fell onto Chen Qingyun's hands. This late-stage Yuanying demon king is definitely a tough guy for Xingzun and others, and it is very difficult to deal with. But in Chen Qingyun's case, it has become a Yuanying clone, like a target for the puppets to join forces, and was firmly suppressed. So far, in the Xinghai demon tide, the 7 Yuanying demon kings who entered the Xinghai have been killed. Chen Qingyun killed 3 of them alone. That Wuda is a joint killer with Xingzun and Xingzong sect master, and can share some rewards. How to calculate the reward for the nascent soul demon king still needs to be discussed by Xingzun. It is definitely not as simple as gaining military merit. Chen Qingyun cleaned up the battlefield, took away Suotai's corpse, and released a wave to completely wipe out all traces of the battle here. When he returned to Zongshan Islands and met the Grand Elder of Xingzong, Chen Qingyun told him the result. What? I didn't hear it wrong. You have killed Suotai. This. The Grand Elder of Xingzong was very surprised and seemed a little speechless. That's the late nascent soul demon king. He realized that this junior's strength was far beyond his own, and he didn't have the slightest contempt in his heart. Chen Qingyun didn't tell him how Suotai was killed. The Grand Elder of Xingzong was very sensible and naturally didn't ask questions. After completing the monster hunting operation in the Northern Theater, Chen Qingyun didn't want to stay here for long. That day, under the watchful eyes of the Grand Elder of Xingzong, he took the teleportation array and teleported directly to the Eastern Theater, and then joined Chen Daoren and his tribesmen. On Red Dragon Island, Chen Qingyun saw the corpses of Liao and the Red Shark Cave Master. The 2 monsters were still wrapped in layers of thick ice, firmly frozen in them, forming a striking landscape. From a distance of 30 or 40 meters, the bone-chilling coldness could still be felt. Even if a giant and cultivator approached, he would feel a great fear and realize that he could not touch such ice. What a powerful ice technique! Chen Qingyun felt it carefully and found that this was a very amazing ice attribute technique. In the Xinghai, Cultivators with ice attribute spiritual roots were relatively rare. What's more, those who can reach the level of Yuanying stage are really unheard of. Who is this attacker? Why is he hiding here on Red Dragon Island? He didn't show his true colors before, but chose to attack when the two demon kings of the demon ancestor hall attacked the island. Could it be that this person has a grudge against the demon ancestor hall? The more Chen Qingyun looked at it, the more he felt that this matter was not simple. Looking at the two ice sculptures again, since they appeared, even after a few days, no one dared to touch the corpses of the two demon kings. Even Xingzun and Xingzong sect master did not act rashly after seeing them, and were impressed by the means of this attacker. Whoever killed the monster would own it. Everyone present knew it very well, and they just had to wait for someone to collect the two monster corpses. Chen Qingyun couldn't figure it out, so he could only ask Chen Qingyun what else he saw at that time. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 910, Origin remains a mystery, and everyone is paying tribute to her. Chen Qingyun's knowledge was extremely limited and he shook his head. That senior acted too quickly. If he wanted to hide it, I really couldn't see anything. Brother, what can you see? Chen Qingyun asked seriously, always feeling that this matter had something to do with him. Was it really such a coincidence? When he was attacked by Liao, the small cyan cauldron appeared in time and helped him resolve the crisis. If it was really not a coincidence, Chen Qingyun thought that he had too few connections and didn't know many people outside. I have to say that the only one with a better relationship is Liu Zilin. The few female monks from Yaoang Mountain I have recently made friends with are generally average. How could I be so virtuous and capable as to allow a strong person in the nascent soul stage to be so partial and protective? I didn't see anything either. Chen Qingyun shook his head gently, not seeing the origin of the person who took action. When I asked Chen Daoran, Chen Qingyun and others, their answers were similar. I only know that the other party acted with good intentions, and even helped to kill the nine-headed golden core demon king. The current corpse of the nine-headed golden elixir demon king is also frozen. As for Chen Daoran, the focus of the Chen family monks at this time is actually not all about who is doing this. Instead, he looked at Chen Qingyun with bright eyes, unable to conceal his excitement. The reason why I am so excited is very simple. I have a nascent soul cultivator. Chen Daoran pulled Chen Qingyun to one side and asked slightly excitedly, Qingyun, when did you break through to the nascent soul stage? I have never heard of it before. You are so hidden. Okay. Now our Chen family is a Yuanying family, and we also have Yuanying monks. Chen Daoran couldn't hide the joy on his face and narrowed his eyes with a smile. Chen Qingyun did not hide this, and told him when he had broken through to the nascent soul stage. At that time, he also followed the advice of the old patriarch and did not expose his cultivation level. Only Liu Zilin and Chen Qingyun knew about it. Chen Daoran particularly approves of this approach. Chen Qingyun was surrounded by the family monks like stars holding a moon in their arms, and the atmosphere was lively, attracting the attention of many people around him. The family monks showed envy and lamented that the Chen family was getting stronger and stronger. Some fellow Taoists who met Chen Qingyun had different moods and were very curious about the opportunity through which Chen Qingyun climbed all the way to the nascent soul stage. However, I can only think about this question in my mind, and I won't be bored enough to actually ask it. Outside Red Dragon Island, seeing Chen Qingyun arriving, Yu Lingshu took a look with interest. When he saw the corpses of the monster beasts still sealed in ice, the little patriarch did not collect them and could not help but think about them alone. Because Yu Lingshu cast a high-level invisibility talisman and used the invisibility magic weapon to temporarily block the monk's spiritual detection. At this moment, even Chen Qingyun would have a hard time finding her traces as long as he didn't look carefully. Since there are no tasks for the time being, the Demon King has been killed. Chen Qingyun stayed on Red Dragon Island, waiting for the next move of Xingzun and others. Xingzun met with Chen Qingyun and had already learned about the latest battle situation in the western and northern war zones, so he couldn't help but praise Chen Qingyun. Beheading 2 demon emperors in a row. Fellow Taoist Chen can be so stunning every time he attacks. I really admire him. You have made great contributions this time. The leader of the Xing sect nodded repeatedly and said, that Suotai's strength is beyond the reach of even my subordinates, so I can only retreat. The fact that fellow Taoist Chen can kill him is enough to prove that fellow Taoist Chen has extraordinary abilities. Chen Qingyun heard too many such polite words. After a few words, he changed the subject and asked the 2 of them what they thought about the ice sculpture. The 2 of them were equally confused. They claimed that their experience was too shallow and they did not see the origin of the person who took action. Xingzun thought of a stupid way. This is the plan for now. If you want to investigate in detail, you have to investigate the nascent soul monks in the Sea of 10,000 Monsters, the Sea of Illusion, the Sea of Thunder Spirit and other sea areas one by one. In this way, we can always find that fellow Taoist. This stupid method is indeed feasible. There are only so many Yuanying monks in the inner sea, and each one has his or her own unique skills and distinctive appearance. This task will be carried out by Xingzun after the Star Sea monster tide is over. That is to say, the next day, the small green cauldron appeared again, collecting the corpses of Liao, the Red Shark Cave Master, and the 9-headed Demon King. And in the blink of an eye, it turned into a blue light and flew into the sky. Chen Qingyun was attracted by this scene, and even Xingzun and the head of Xing sect were paying close attention. Your Excellency is willing to donate generously and lend a helping hand to help us subdue the demons. I don't know your surname. Xingzun couldn't help but asked in the direction of the small green cauldron, wanting to explore the origin of its owner. This is also a good opportunity to get to know each other. The small cyan cauldron paused for a moment, flashed in the air for a few times, and then disappeared into the sky without a trace. Adhering to the principle of secretly protecting Chen Qingyun, Yu Lingshu did not intend to report his origins, let alone his intention to do so. Who did this is left as a mystery for the time being. Seeing how aloof Yu Lingshu was, Xingzun could only hand over his hand and stop asking any more questions. He also did not go out of bounds to track and probe with his spiritual consciousness, so as not to anger the other party. At the same time, this also made Chen Qingyun, the head of the Star Sect, even more curious. This person was probably staying around Red Dragon Island in the past 2 days. None of the 3 nascent soul cultivators on our side found any trace of the other party. This skill alone is definitely not simple. After collecting the corpse of the monster, Yu Lingshu entered the Blessed Land bead. The bead was hidden in a coral group on the seabed and integrated with the surroundings. She reported the matter to the master of Huanyuan Palace truthfully about Chen Qingyun's near-death. In Huanyuan Palace, after receiving Yu Lingshu's message, the master of Huanyuan Palace raised her eyebrows. What a good demon ancestor palace! If you don't give this sect an explanation in the future, don't blame this sect for turning your face and ignoring you. After being defeated in the Star Sea and losing their nascent soul Demon King, the Black Dragon Palace, the Demon Ancestor Palace, and the Divine Water Palace could only suffer in silence and did not dare to take the risk of sending nascent soul Demon King to the Star Sea again. Lest Penglai Fairyland or Tongshan Demon Sea have the opportunity to take advantage of the situation. Since then, there will be no more nascent soul Demon Kings causing trouble in this Star Sea monster tide battle. At most, there will be more than a dozen Golden Core Demon Kings invading the Star Sea and stirring up some waves. With Xingzun, Chen Qingyun and other Yuanying cultivators in charge, Xinghai has already gained the upper hand, and the subsequent defense actions will become easy. After the Chen family cultivators completed the task of guarding Red Dragon Island, Chen Qingyun followed them back to Hanli Island. Chen Qingyun's original task of guarding Yunwu Island was also verified and completed, and he received a reward for his military merits. Because Chen Qingyun showed his strength, under the order of Xingzun, Chen Qingyun would not be bound by the task and be assigned to a specific place to perform the task. Chen Qingyun was more like a sea-stabilizing magic needle, fixed in this eastern theater, deterring those monsters. Chapter 911 Asking the Divine Art, obtaining another Yuanying clone. The same is true for the Red Spirit Patriarch, the Star Sect Master and several other nascent souls. They will each take charge of the 4 major war zones in the east, west, south and north until the end of the war. With the support of the nascent soul cultivators behind them, the Star Sea cultivators have become much more aggressive in resisting the beast tide in recent times, and will often take the initiative to attack. The morale of the monsters has been greatly damaged, and the number of monsters dispatched has decreased a lot compared to before. When attacking, they will deliberately bypass the islands where Chen Qingyun, Xingzhen and others are located, and stay far away. After some statistics, the total number of beasts still wandering in the Star Sea is about 60,000, and there are no more than 20 giant monsters. These monsters will be divided into different lineups of different sizes, wandering around and raiding in various war zones. They are considered some cannon fodder sent by the 3 parties of the Black Dragon Palace. They restrain each other and consume each other, and use the Star Sea to maintain a stable number of monsters. The monsters attacking the Pengli Fairyland are still about 20,000, and they can no longer pose a threat. Seeing that the battle situation was already stable, even if there were another Yuanying Demon King coming, it would be to send food. Chen Qingyun began to count the number of family cultivators and understand some of the situation. After more than a year of fighting, the number of family cultivators who came to participate reached 11, and such a casualty rate was expected. The strength of the family members has improved. Chen Daoran has reached the peak of the Purple Mansion. Recently, he has accumulated a lot of demon pills. He is ready to take advantage of 1 or 2 more missions and gather enough demon pill resources before trying to impact the golden pill stage. Of course, if they are not gathered, these demon pills can be exchanged for the family, and then some spirit stones can be paid to exchange for the golden pill and retrieve. Chen Qingyun's strength has long reached the peak of the Purple Mansion, and she can retreat to form a pill. With her qualifications, she does not need the assistance of external objects such as Snow Spirit Fairy Dew and Golden Pill. She can successfully form a pill by herself. 3 months later, Chen Qingyun continued to stay in Hanli Island. Chen Qingyun and others were assigned to go to the northern theater to provide support and clear the monsters there. In the southern theater, the monsters have been basically cleared. Currently, there are more monsters in the northern and western theaters. Taking advantage of this free time, Chen Qingyun began to count the spoils of war. There are 3 storage bags, from Shuang, Heming and Suotai, and 3 5th-level monster pills. There are not many things in Shuang's storage bag, including the 3-headed snake order, a 5th-level formation-breaking bead, more than 3 million spirit stones, and only 1 spiritual treasure. In addition to the red blade collected by the tripod of all things before, there are only 2 spiritual treasures in total. Heming's worth is about the same as Shuang, and he also has 2 spiritual treasures, as well as some monster clan techniques, spiritual medicines, etc. Since these techniques are specially created for monster clan cultivators, they are very different from human clan techniques in practice. Although they cannot be used directly for practice, they are of great reference significance. Among those spiritual medicines, there are 2 4th-level spiritual medicines that can restore chi and blood, and they are very rare species. Suotai has the best wealth, with more than 17 million spiritual stones, 3 spiritual treasures, a 5th-level spiritual medicine, a rather strange spell, and a 5th-level pill. This pill is called the Holy Infant Pill. After taking it, the Yuanying cultivator can increase his mana by 50 years. This pill only works once, and it will only work when the first pill is taken. If you take the second pill, it will no longer work. Holy Infant Pill. This almost extinct finished pill can still be found by me. The good stuff on Suotai is still good. In addition, there is the spell God Asking technique. The name of this spell is related to the God Asking talisman, which is a branch version of the famous soul-searching technique in ancient times. When a cultivator uses the God Asking technique, he can ask the desired truth without hurting the other party's soul and consciousness. This is equivalent to having an endless supply of God-asking talismans in hand, which can interrogate the highest level of nascent soul cultivators. But there is also a fatal flaw. That is, if you interrogate someone whose soul is beyond your own, you will immediately be backlashed, which is life-threatening, and you may become crazy and stupid. So according to the records of this technique, it is best not to use the God-asking technique on cultivators of the same level. Chen Qingyun looked through this technique and became very interested. It is not difficult to practice. What? A good God-asking technique. I am a 5 elements nascent soul, so my magic power and soul are relatively strong, far surpassing cultivators of the same level. With this technique, if I want to eradicate the roots in the future, it will be much easier to interrogate some things. And this method can also be made into talismans and refined into high-level God-asking talismans, which can be used by outsiders, which is also very convenient. Chen Qingyun's eyes were shining, and he put away this technique, and then checked the spiritual treasures. There are 7 spiritual treasures in total, 2 of which are of medium quality and 5 of which are of low quality. Spiritual treasures are a scarce resource in the world of demon cultivators. Even the demon saints who have reached the state of transformation will regard them as treasures. The reason for this is that the intelligence of demon cultivators is far inferior to that of humans. They are slower than humans in learning the art of cultivating immortals and refining weapons, and there are few who are outstanding and shocking. For example, a refiner, alchemist, talisman maker or ray master above the 3rd level can have the same status as the Golden Core Demon King in the demon race. Chen Qingyun does not care about the subsequent use of the magic weapon obtained by the demon cultivators, whether it will reveal anything, and just controls it openly. Among them, the red blade is a medium quality spiritual treasure, which is very suitable for attacking and can be kept for use. The other 6 spiritual treasures do not need to be kept, and can be used as reinforcement points. Chen Qingyun took out the magic weapons he had obtained from the evil shark and some demon cultivators before, and piled them together, totaling more than 700 pieces. Decompose. As soon as the order was issued, a large number of magic weapons flashed in front of him, and all turned into strengthening points. Add the remaining before. Strengthening points, 2210,393. Looking at this value, strengthening Bawang is still a little short of it, so Chen Qingyun simply strengthened Jiuyu first, and these clones will continue to strengthen in the later stage. As his mind moved, the aura of Jiuyu in front of him surged, and then climbed, and instantly strengthened to the late stage of the nascent soul. Now, with Bawang and Jiuyu, 2 late-stage nascent soul clones, relying on the power of the 5 elements nascent soul, Chen Qingyun can already have few rivals in the nascent soul stage, and is a top-tier existence. There are still more than 1 million strengthening points left, and Chen Qingyun strengthened the Danlai clone to the early stage of the nascent soul. Danlai, Haitian, Hanbing, these 3 are all in the early stage of the nascent soul, plus Bawang and Jiuyu, so now I have 5 nascent soul clones. Chen Qingyun's face was filled with joy. Others dream of reaching the nascent soul stage, and there are 5 of his clones. This strength is enough to make people dumbfounded. Next, Chen Qingyun strengthened all 55 elements puppets to the peak of the Purple Mansion, and further refined them into clones. Chapter 912, Entering the Enemy Camp. Now, the weakest clones of Chen Qingyun are at the peak of the Purple Mansion, and the rest are at the nascent soul stage. There are 406,073 remaining enhancement points, which are temporarily reserved. You can accumulate more and use them to continue to strengthen the clones in the later stage. The green mirror and the Cauldron of All Things can also be upgraded a lot, and more magic tools can be collected. After watching the many clones, Chen Qingyun entered the Blessed Land Pearl and took out the Holy Infant Pill. Holy Infant Pill. Such a rare pill, I can actually get it. These demon cultivators in the Divine Water Mansion can still come into contact with such an opportunity. I don't know where this pill comes from. Looking at the pill in his hand, Chen Qingyun was quite interested. After a while, He checked that there was no problem with the Holy Infant Pill and there was no risk of taking it. Chen Qingyun began to refine it on the spot. 2 days later, the medicinal power in the pill was completely absorbed. Chen Qingyun opened his eyes and found that the nascent soul in his body had grown a little stronger, one step closer to the peak of the nascent soul. It's really a good thing. Just one pill is worth 50 years of hard work for you Hunyuan cultivator. The effect of this holy infant pill is really amazing. It's a pity that there is no recipe for this pill. Chen Qingyun searched all over Suo Tai's storage bag, but couldn't find the corresponding recipe. This is a pity. From the current inner sea cultivation world, there are very few treasures that can help you Hunyuan cultivators break through the peak realm, which can be called rare. If you want to obtain resources and break through the peak of Hunyuan, you have to leave the inner sea and go to a more prosperous continent or the outer sea. Or you can try your luck in the outer sea fairy palace to see if you can get some good opportunities. However, the outer sea fairy palace has not yet opened, and you need to wait a little longer. This time, hunting down several Hunyuan demon kings was very worthwhile. Spitting out a breath of turbid air, Chen Qingyun fumbled in the storage bag and took out 3 5th-level demon pills. Since his own strength has increased, the spiritual beasts he cultivated will naturally benefit from it. The 5th-level demon pill has no effect on Mo Ling and Bai Ling, so Chen Qingyun called Bai Ling, the golden-winged insect, and the 6-winged miasma cloud bee together. Bai Ling's current strength is at the peak of the Purple Mansion. She broke through a year ago. When she saw the 5th-level demon pill this time, she jumped up and down with excitement and wanted to swallow it to advance. A 5th-level demon pill can only improve the strength of a spiritual beast. If it is taken for the second time, the effect will be minimal. Chen Qingyun asked Bai Ling to take it first, and gave the other 2 to the golden-winged insect and the 6-winged miasma cloud bee respectively. The strength of the queen of the 6-winged miasma cloud bee has long reached the middle stage of the golden elixir, and the rest of the spiritual bees are all 4th-level middle-grade bloodlines. As for the golden-winged insect, it was originally a 3rd-level middle-grade bloodline more than 20 years ago. Since the last time the bloodline was optimized by the ancient white stone, the little guys have grown a little bigger after waking up, and their bloodline has been upgraded to the 3rd grade extreme. We will have to wait and see what realm the 3 spirit beasts can reach in the future. At least they can reach the giant stage. In the following month, Chen Qingyun began to practice the god asking art and mastered this art. In order to test the effect, Chen Qingyun personally took action and captured a demon cultivator from Kuish Cave to try and see the specific effect. How many troops did Kuish Cave send this time? The giant demon cultivator who was captured alive and hit by the god asking art looked dull and his eyes were empty. Facing Chen Qingyun's question, he answered mechanically and truthfully. We sent about 65,000 troops, 3 Hunyuan demon emperors, 13 giant demon kings. This answer is almost the same as the situation he has mastered. Chen Qingyun learned some information in his conversation with Xingzun in the past few days. Chen Qingyun continued to ask, what is your action this time? This time, we want to raid Xuan Island and create momentum, so as to cover another team's night attack on Daqian Island. Xuan Island and Daqian Island are 2 important islands on the first front. On Daqian Island, there is a teleportation array that can lead to other major teleportation arrays in the inner and outer star seas. After asking about this plan, Chen Qingyun was not surprised. This kind of fighting method has been frequently used by demon cultivators recently, and they will learn the fighting methods of the human race. And this demon cultivator is the leader of this beast tide team, and he must have some useful information in his hands. How many troops are there in the beast tide that is preparing to attack Daqian Island at night? Chen Qingyun asked. How many giant demon kings are there? More than 6,000, 3 giant demon kings. Where are they going now? They have now arrived at a deserted island sea area 1,300 miles east of Xuan Island. After Chen Qingyun asked about these and other questions, He killed the demon cultivator. Upon learning that the demon ancestor hall was planning to launch a sneak attack and wanted to attack Daqian Island at night, a cold light flashed in Chen Qingyun's eyes. If I remember correctly, there are currently only 2 giant cultivators stationed on Daqian Island, and their strength is at the early stage of giant. The number of the remaining cultivators is about 3,500. Including 300 qi refining and foundation building cultivators from the family. According to the defense strength of Daqian Island, it is still quite difficult to fight against such a night attack. This is the final stage of the battle, and Chen Qingyun does not want the family cultivators to suffer casualties. Now that he has already known the opponent's plan and dynamics, he should strike first. Chen Qingyun released 2 clones, and the sea god took the wind spirit clone together, fell into the sea and performed the water escape technique, heading towards the deserted island in the east of Zhuxiantu Island. On that day, the beast tide lurking around the deserted island was still hunting and resting. The number was over 6,000, and it was soon attacked by the sea god and the wind spirit clone. The 3-headed golden elixir monster king in the lead was killed by the sea god clone at the first sight. The rest of the monsters were scared and fled, and they were almost wiped out in less than an incense stick of time. Chen Qingyun deliberately stayed behind for a while for the remaining monster remnants, and performed the god asking technique again, capturing several monster cultivators and asking for some information. The targets of this time were the 3rd level and 2nd level monsters, respectively. The time for the god asking technique to take effect depends on the strength of the caster. The weaker the caster, the longer the time, and vice versa. Taking advantage of this experiment, Chen Qingyun learned the specific locations of the 6 caves, including Kua Snake Cave, Layman Cave, and Chisha Cave. Among them, Kua Snake Cave, Layman Cave, and Chisha Cave, because of the death of the 3 cave masters, were electing new cave masters at this time and fell into a brief internal struggle. These demon cultivators are not as united as they seem on the surface. If we break into their base camp at this time, wouldn't it be a good time for revenge? Chen Qingyun muttered to himself, with a cold light flashing in his eyes. Chapter 913 Raid on Kuish Cave. Thinking of the evil deeds Qingguang committed on Ningxing Island, and the 2 cave masters Red Shark and Thunder Eel who killed several family monks who participated in the war. They even attacked Chen Qingyun and others. At this moment, Chen Qingyun gradually began to have murderous intentions in his heart. Staying here is also staying. Chen Qingyun looked at Moling and Beiling, and then thought of his several nascent soul clones, and an idea emerged in his mind. Just allow the demon ancestor palace to cause trouble in our star sea and destroy the territory we depend on for survival. Do you still not allow me to kill their lair, give them some color? This currently requires a large amount of magic weapon resources, and I am worried about where to get them in large quantities. There are many demon cultivators in Kua Snake Cave and Red Shark Cave, and all kinds of magical weapons are definitely indispensable. It is indeed a good opportunity to obtain a large number of magical weapons. When Star Sect Master and Xingzun were stationed in the Eastern Theater, Chen Qingyun did not inform them of the next action. Instead, he set up a wind and thunder boat alone and flew to the sea of 10,000 demons at full speed, preparing for a raid. After flying away from the first front line, there are few islands in the sea area, and sporadic traces of monsters can be seen from time to time. After wandering on the sea for several days, Chen Qingyun took the lead in entering the waters of Kuish Cave. According to the information collected, there is only one demon cultivator in the divine transformation stage in the demon ancestor hall, and it is the 3 dragons who are currently guarding the base camp of the demon ancestor hall. The remaining 6 caves, including Kua Snake and Red Shark, have the highest combat power in the late nascent soul stage. The demon cultivators at the peak of nascent soul all have 3 dragons with them and will not leave the demon ancestor hall easily. With this perfect opportunity, Chen Qingyun transformed into a male mermaid, locked the location of Kuish Cave, and launched his spiritual consciousness to conduct a sweep. Kuish Cave is located on the seabed. It is built in a large undersea mountain range with a depth of about 1,500 meters. It is composed of large and small caves. With just a sweep of his spiritual consciousness, the number of demon beasts detected reached more than 20,000, including two nascent soul demon emperors, both of whom were in their early stages of strength. There are more than 60 golden core demon kings, a decent number. These powers seem to be numerous, but in Chen Qingyun's opinion, they can all be wiped out by driving two nascent soul clones. At this moment, in the main cave of Kuish Cave, the two nascent soul demon emperors were facing each other tit for tat, with the intention of using their weapons to decide the outcome. These are respectively a sea serpent and a walrus, in the form of a woman and a man. The sea serpent demon king's name is Zhuxiantu, and he is the new cave master of Kuish Snake Cave. The other walrus demon emperor is named Xiangshan, and he serves as the deputy cave master. Just listen to the cold look on Zhuxiantu's face. His pupils are oily green, and he makes a sharp sound. According to the king's instructions, our Kuish Zedong suffered a loss from Xinghai this time. We should not seek revenge for the time being. It is better to recharge our batteries. But, according to what those human monks said, there are three things to do when a new official takes office. If we don't show some power and take revenge on those Xinghai monks, then how can we hold our heads high in front of other cave masters in the future? If we really want to be a coward, what will the young generals below think of us? Kuish Cave ranks third among the 6 major caves of Demon Ancestor Hall. This time Qingguang was lost, and coupled with Zhongyuan's previous fall, there were only 2 demon emperors left. This time, in order to compete for the position of cave master, Zhuxiantu and Xiangshan competed fiercely, and they almost came to blows in Kuish Cave. In the end, Zhuxiantu was able to succeed, but Xiangshan was still a little unconvinced and responded with an unconcerned look. It's your business to establish authority. As the deputy cave master, I just have to keep an eye on the Kuish Cave with a radius of 800,000 miles. As soon as he heard this, Zhuxiantu raised his eyebrows and snorted coldly. Then if you want to stay, then you must guard the Kuish Cave. I will bring some people to Xinghai to stir up trouble. I hope the king will. I won't say anything. Whatever. On the sea, in order to fight quickly and avoid attracting support, Chen Qingyun decided to take action with all his strength. Chen Qingyun stood in the sea, and the immortal palace flew out of his hand, releasing figures one after another, forming 3 teams and falling towards Kuish Cave. The demon cultivator from Kuish Cave who was responsible for guarding the lookout soon discovered that humanoid figures were coming one after another. After seeing the tridents among them, he immediately blew the horn. A large number of demon cultivators in Kuish Cave were alerted by the sound of the horn. Knowing that it was a warning of invasion by foreign enemies, someone immediately went to Zhuxiantu to report it. Cave Master, someone is coming to kill you. Zhuxiantu, who was still planning to organize manpower, immediately looked angry when he heard this. Only 2 days after taking office, someone dared to come to Kuish Cave. Isn't this a slap in the face? Thinking of this, he immediately asked in a deep voice, who is coming, a cultivator of immortals or a cultivator of demons? It seems like a shark from the sea of sharks. Shark, man. Zhuxiantu's expression turned serious, knowing that the sharks were difficult to deal with. His own camp of demon cultivators had been fighting with the sharks for hundreds of years. How many sharks are here? About 50 or 60. He originally thought that there were tens of thousands of sharks coming, but when he heard that there were only such a small number, Zhuxiantu felt like he was being teased. A few dozen sharks dared to come to Kuish Cave to cause trouble. I really thought that I was a vegetarian, so this time I am going to take action on them. Although he said this, Zhuxiantu still wanted to be sure and had no intention of taking action personally, so he issued the order. The summons has been passed. Let the 3 guardians Zhu and Ling bring some people to capture these sharks alive and serve them to me. Yes. After the order was passed down, the 3 guardians of Kuish Cave, Cha, Chu, and Ling, gathered people nearby and began to prepare for battle. At this time, Poseidon, Han Bing, and a group of clones had already launched an offensive, and a large number of tridents were transformed and condensed, reaching thousands of them. Some monsters outside were pierced and killed by the falling tridents, and more were scared and scattered to avoid them. This is not the end. The second ability of the trident was activated, and waves of seawater formed undercurrents, sweeping towards more monster cultivators. All the monster cultivators hit by this undercurrent were torn apart one by one and turned into pieces of corpses. Fighting in the sea is different from fighting on the sea surface. The water resources here are more abundant, and the power of the trident can be maximized. The three tridents enlarged in the water and turned into a size of hundreds of feet. They fell down with one blow, easily killing several groups of monster cultivators. In the Kua Snake Cave, more than 6,000 demon cultivators were dispatched in a short period of time, with strength ranging from Qi refining to golden core stage. Such a lineup did not pose any threat to Chen Qingyun. The clones holding tridents cooperated in the battle, and from time to time they deployed formations to launch group attacks, making a group of demon cultivators wail and wailing, and were killed in one move. This was a one-sided massacre. When Chen Qingyun came here, he had no intention of letting any demon cultivator go. Chapter 914 Green Yuan Fruit Tree. The Wind Spirit, Sword Immortal and other clones holding tridents killed all around in Kuish Cave. Wherever they went, the monsters panicked and retreated, and more were killed on the spot. Chen Qingyun did not spare the energy to chase some of the weak monsters that fled. On the other side, the attack of the four Yuanying clones of Bang, Jiuyu, Haitian and Hanbing was even more swift. With a wave of their hands, they took the lead in clearing the surrounding giant and monster kings. The sea dividing flag showed its power in the sea, creating hundreds of whirlpools in the sea, which dragged a large number of monster cultivators into it and tore them into pieces. Zhuoju was startled and wanted to come out to fight. When he noticed the strength displayed by the five clones of Bang, Jiuyu, Hanbing, and the power of the spiritual treasures, his face changed immediately. Yuanying, stage, top-grade spiritual treasures. My, Kuish Cave actually provoked such a powerful existence. The strength displayed by Chen Qingyun made Zhuoju have no confidence in fighting. She guessed that Chen Qingyun came to destroy the Kuish Cave. If she fought recklessly, she would only be injured or killed. So she didn't care about her identity as the cave master, left her subordinates behind, and turned around to run away. Chen Qingyun opened his spiritual sense and locked Zhuoju early. For such a 5th-level monster resource that was within reach, he would naturally not let it go. Letting the tiger go back to the mountain is not a good idea. Since he has already taken action, he should try to cut the grass and root it out. At present, he used the identity of a mermaid to conceal his true identity so as not to implicate the Chen family. Without performing any extra actions, Chen Qingyun took action himself, unfolded the water escape technique in the water, and caught up with Zhuoju. Deu, why do you have to kill me? I didn't provoke you mermaids. Zhuoju learned some worldly ways and thought that Chen Qingyun was a strong man from the mermaids, and knew that he was no match. You are so magnanimous today, why don't you let me go? If you need anything in the future, I can serve you at my service. She could only compromise and not care about her face. Chen Qingyun said nothing, so as not to expose the problem by saying more. He responded with action and directly sacrificed the Tianyan double swords to slash out. Zhuoju's strength was only in the early stage of Yuanying, and he was no match for Chen Qingyun at all. He avoided the attack of the double swords in a panic. Chen Qingyun slashed 3 swords in a row, turning into 99 sword lights, and quickly surrounded Zhuoju and broke the opponent's Yuanying shield. Zhuoju was shocked by Chen Qingyun's moves. He guessed that it was the Kuish Cave where he was that provoked Chen Qingyun. It was useless to say anything now. The mermaids and the mermaid sea have always acted vigorously and ruthlessly to the enemy. What's the point of begging for mercy again and again? Thinking of this, Zhuoju became ruthless and used a flying needle magic treasure to stab Chen Qingyun's head. This flying needle magic treasure was extremely fast and was not obvious under the cover of the seawater. Unfortunately, It had no effect in front of Chen Qingyun and was shaken away by a Tianyan Immortal Sword. Then, the second Tianyan Immortal Sword fell from above, revealing a sword light of 100 feet long, and beheaded Zhuxiantu with one sword. The flying needle magic treasure fell into Chen Qingyun's hands. In the distance, Zhuxiantu had no intention of assisting Zhuxiantu. Seeing Zhuxiantu being killed, he snorted coldly with some gloating. He, let you be the cave master. The first person these mermaids want to kill is you. Fortunately they didn't come for me. Now that the other party has fallen, this position can finally be his turn when the owner of Kuish Cave is elected in the future. However, as soon as this thought emerged, the next moment, Zhuxiantu was so frightened that his face turned pale, and he saw two figures coming towards him quickly. Two Yuanying mermaids. Bang and Jiuyu worked together and found Zhuxiantu's traces early, so they would not let this demon king go. Zhuxiantu thought that his strength was equal to Zhuxiantu's, so he was no match for him, so he didn't care about his subordinates and used Yuanying teleportation to escape. Unfortunately, Bang and Jiuyu had already launched a blockade. A ring came first and captured Zhuxiantu. The affectionate ring showed its power, and followed closely, and a red blade cut in, causing Zhuxiantu to look shocked and his pupils widened. Shuang's red blood blade. This thought emerged in his mind, and before he could scream, the demon king was beheaded by a blade. The demon pill that had left the body wanted to escape, but the ending was the same as Zhuxiantu's, and was taken into the Cauldron of All Things by Chen Qingyun. Looking at the surroundings, with the death of the two demon kings of Kuish Cave, the combat power of the entire Kuish Cave collapsed, and a Yuanying cultivator could easily wipe it out. Several golden rainbow divine lights burst out, piercing hundreds of demon cultivators, and a dull roar exploded wherever they passed. Then the remaining power shot to the cave in the mountain range, and a huge pit was blasted out. A purple mansion clone was already killing people everywhere, killing one demon cultivator after another with a wave of his hand. The participation of the Yuanying clone blocked the sea area, and a trapped beast battle came. From being attacked to being destroyed, it took only half an incense stick of time, and the core area of this Kuish cave was wiped out in the midst of dire straits. Chen Qingyun used a group of clones to clean up the battlefield, collect demon pills, magic tools, and a large number of resources and treasures in the cave. In the main cave of Kuish Cave, Chen Qingyun found 3 spiritual trees, on which were condensing green fruits, which were not yet ripe. Green, yuan fruit. After seeing the origin of the fruit at a glance, Chen Qingyun uprooted the 3 fruit trees and put them into the blessed land bead first. Continue to explore this main cave. There is also a medicine garden, which is arranged with many sunstones, spiritual springs, and some spiritual medicines. The skills of demon cultivators in planting spiritual medicines are far inferior to those of humans, and most of the spiritual medicines here are of low grade. Only a few 3rd and 4th grade spiritual medicines that can grow freely with tenacious vitality have some value. In a dark side cave, Chen Qingyun found a large area of Dragon Ball grass, which can be regarded as a good harvest. After picking all the spiritual medicines here, Chen Qingyun took out the fairy palace and took back the clones. Then it turned into a long rainbow and disappeared into the sky, leaving only the dilapidated and almost razed Kuish Cave. The core area of Kuish Cave was invaded. When this news just spread to the surrounding Layman Cave and Chisha Cave, the second battle had already started. Chen Qingyun followed the same method, relying on the speed advantage, and killed to the Chisha Cave area in advance, released all the clones, fell into the sea, and launched a surprise attack. Since the Kuish Cave had been alerted when it was destroyed, Chen Qingyun released Bailing and Moling this time. The 2 spirit beasts dived into the sea and helped to push down the demon cultivators. Compared with the Kuish Cave, the Red Shark Cave is stronger. Currently, there are only 2 demon kings in the middle stage of the Nascent Soul. After receiving the news of the invasion, they chose to escape directly. Unfortunately, in front of Chen Qingyun, where can they escape? Chapter 915, Destroying the Thunder Eel Cave. Bang used the sea-dividing flag to seal the sky and the earth in advance, Firmly locking this sea area. Jiuyu launched a pursuit, and simply attacked with the Tianyan double swords, and killed the two demon kings one after another with a few swords. The number of remaining demon cultivators was over 4,000, and they were all trapped. Moling waved his wings and killed a giant and demon king, and then used his innate magical power thunderstorm. In an instant, dense thunder spread like silver snakes, and spread to the surrounding area under the transmission of seawater, and the attack range was further increased. This thunderstorm wiped out thousands of demon beasts in an instant, and a burst of lightning surged in a radius of 100 miles. This sea area was filled with a strong smell of burning, and a large number of demon beasts fell with thunder. Bai Ling's attack was also good. He opened his mouth and spit out a dragon's breath, and started to sweep. Wherever the dragon breath passed, purple mansions and foundation-building demon cultivators all exploded, without any resistance, and nearly 1,000 demon beasts were killed in an instant. In this way, in less than half an incense stick of time, the Red Shark Cave was destroyed by Chen Qingyun's surprise attack. After destroying the two forces under the Demon Ancestor Hall, Chen Qingyun also plundered the resources here, filling several storage bags, and then put away the spirit beasts and clones and left. The Thunderman Cave is more than 300,000 miles away from the Red Shark Cave. This time, Chen Qingyun launched a million-mile raid and planned to wipe out the Thunderman Cave together. Because Chen Qingyun took action with thunder, he raided the two cave forces of Kua Snake and Red Shark one after another. The Thunderman Cave had received the news and set up a 5th-level water formation to try to resist Chen Qingyun's surprise attack. However, this 5th-level formation was completely useless in front of Chen Qingyun. The 5th-level formation breaking bead obtained from Shuang before can easily break this formation. Seeing Chen Qingyun and a group of mermaid-like cultivators appear, the Thundereel Cave has entered a state of combat readiness, and tens of thousands of monsters have gathered here. It is indeed a mermaid. The eyes of all the monster cultivators fell on Bang, Jiuyu and other clones. In order to conceal his tracks, Chen Qingyun himself and even his clones have all transformed into mermaids through the mixing technique. With the trident in his hand, it is even more difficult to distinguish the real from the fake. There are only a few dozen mermaids, but they can destroy the Kuish Cave and the Red Shark Cave one after another. Although we are little stronger than these two caves, it is not easy to resist the attack of these mermaids. A Thundereel Cave Guardian said. HMPH, our 5th-level Kuishui Xoangkun formation is not a vegetarian, and these mermaids are not good at breaking the formation. As long as we hold out for 1 or 2 hours, the people sent by the Master will support us. Yes, that's right, we still have a 5th-level formation. I don't think these mermaids can get in, they can only stare at us from outside, ha 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 ha. The atmosphere in the Thundereel Cave did not seem so tense. Compared with the Kua Snake and Red Shark Caves, there are 5th-level formations guarding here. In order to make a quick decision and avoid complications, Chen Qingyun directly took out the 5th-level formation breaking bead. This gem is no bigger than a nightlight pearl, and contains profound Taoist texts. It can be used up to 3 times, and there are 2 left. After absorbing the spiritual power of a top-grade spirit stone, the formation breaking bead emits a blazing light, and the energy inside it is surging. With Chen Qingyun's movements, it falls in the direction of the formation. This 5th-level formation is called Kuishui Xoangkun formation. As long as 10 giant and cultivators work together to control it, they can mobilize the power of seawater to replenish energy and continuously exert defensive power. The disadvantage is that the attack power is average, which can only threaten Yuanying early-stage cultivators, and it is difficult to kill. The formation breaking bead fell on the formation barrier, and once it came into contact, it cracked a hole. The crack spread rapidly, forming a huge spider web crack. In the horrified eyes of many demon cultivators, the entire formation was broken, causing a chain reaction, and then collapsed and exploded. The formation was broken. How is it possible? A moment ago, they were still fearless and sure that Chen Qingyun could not kill them. Now the formation was violently dismantled, and they were all in chaos. Run, run, Once the cave protecting formation was broken, the Thundereel cave was completely in chaos. The demon cultivator in charge of controlling the formation broke out in a cold sweat, knowing that he was no match for Chen Qingyun, and joined the escape team. The new leader of the Thundereel cave had not yet been selected, and no one expected that Chen Qingyun would come here at this time. The Thundereel cave was already leaderless, without a leader to command the enemy, and now it was a mess. Some bold and greedy demon cultivators began to take advantage of the chaos to loot some treasures, take the opportunity to take advantage and leave here, and fly away. At this time, Poseidon, Han Bing, Jianlei and other clones had already entered the Thundereel cave one after another, and they used the water arrow technique as soon as they made a move. Dozens of water arrows shot through more than a dozen demon cultivators, and then shot towards the back with the remaining power, piercing through several more demon cultivators. Chen Qingyun sacrificed the Tianyan double swords, joined the hunting team, and began to kill the monsters here. Sword lights flashed, and the corpses of many monsters fell like raindrops, piling up on the sandy seabed, gradually forming a thick carpet of blood and flesh. This attracted some brave carnivorous fish to eat here, smelling the blood. The monsters in the 10,000 Monsters Sea were extremely ferocious and had been plaguing the Star Sea for many years. Especially the demon cultivators here, because they transform into humanoid forms through the shape-shifting grass or the shape-shifting technique. They become half human and half demon and hunt mortals everywhere. This makes mortals terrified when talking about demon cultivators, more afraid than encountering ferocious demon beasts. There are only 2 Yuanying demon kings stationed here. When they learned that the Yuanying demon kings of Kuish Cave and Chisha Cave had been killed, they decisively used Yuanying teleportation to escape the moment the formation was broken. When Chen Qingyun found that the demon king had escaped without fighting, he originally had no intention of chasing him to prevent being ambushed and falling into the enemy's trap. But thinking that the other party might have taken away the treasures here, which would leave hidden dangers, it would be better to kill them all. Bawang and Jiuyu started chasing, and also used Yuanying teleportation, turning into 2 streams of light, and closely chased the 2 demon kings. It was also Yuanying teleportation. With the blessing of the 5 elements Yuanying, Chen Qingyun's speed was considered the top one among the Yuanying cultivators. After escaping for 160,000 to 170,000 miles, the first demon king was caught up by Bawang, who killed him with the Flame Emperor Bell and refined the consciousness in the demon pill. The second demon king fled to an island of immortal cultivators and tried to change his appearance and disguise himself, but was recognized by Jiuyu at a glance, and a war broke out on the island. There were only more than 100 immortal cultivators on the island, and the highest cultivation level was only in the middle stage of the Golden Core, and they were from an immortal cultivator family. Chapter 916 Deep Sea Thunder Spring. That's the nascent soul cultivator. Witnessing this nascent soul level battle, these family immortal cultivators did not dare to get involved. They could only watch from a distance and try to find out the origins of Bawang and the Demon Emperor. In this nascent soul-level battle, the power that erupted made everyone tremble with fear, and they felt that even with all their strength, they could not withstand even a trace of the residual power. This gap between realms makes people deeply understand the truth that there are people outside the world and there is heaven outside the world. Under Bawang's attack, he used the 9-flame fan to attack continuously. The Demon King was submerged in the raging fire, and was wiped out in less than 10 rounds as the ground shook. The momentum caused by the battle dyed half of the sky red, billowing waves of flames emerged, and the entire island turned into a world of fire. This made the onlookers tremble with fear and break out in a cold sweat. Fortunately, Chen Qingyun took action with a sense of proportion and did not affect outsiders. The flames released seemed to have spirituality, actively bypassing these island monks, and only took effect on the Demon King. The pursuit was successful here, but on the other side, in the Thundereel Cave, the battle had come to an end. With previous combat experience, Chen Qingyun already knew the methods and tricks of these demon cultivators very well. With the cooperation of 3 nascent soul clones and a group of Xifu clones, the trident once again showed its power, trapping and killing hundreds of demon cultivators. The 9 Nether Royal Envoy swept the Fenhai flag forward, and the undercurrent spread forward, wiping out a large number of demon cultivators. The caves were hit by the residual power, and collapsed and exploded with rumbles. This is an overwhelming battle, and Chen Qingyun has the upper hand. In this attack on the Thunder Rio Cave, the other 3 caves of the Royal Crab, Heiwu, and Barnacle, under the arrangement of the Demon Ancestor Palace, sent 3 teams of people to support, trying to contain Chen Qingyun's footsteps. With no way to escape, more than a dozen electric eels had no choice but to fight to the death, emerging one after another from the sandy ground on the seabed. Their size reached the size of a bucket, with a length of 13 to 40 feet. They displayed silver thunder and lightning, rumbling and hitting the ice clone in unison. The ice clone wrapped its whole body with a nascent soul shield and easily withstood these thunder and lightning attacks. Even though the silver-gray thunder and lightning was moving all over its body, it remained unscathed. Then he simply used the ground thorn technique, and sharp thorns suddenly appeared in the sand, densely packed, and penetrated all these electric eels. The remaining clones launched an offensive, firing various spiritual treasures and 5 element spells one after another. Even if the Golden Core Demon King takes action, he still can't resist one move and is instantly killed by one. Soon after, the place was cleared. Many clones collected a bunch of demon pills and the resources left in the cave. In the main cave of Thunder Rio Cave, some good discoveries were also made. It was a pond building made of mica stone and second-order spiritual wood. The pond area was about 30 square meters. There is a silver liquid stored in it, shining with dots of electric light, like some kind of thunder-attributed substance. Each of the 4 corners of the pond is decorated with an animal-shaped sculpture. The water flows continuously from the mouth of the animal and merges into the pond, driving the water to flow and circulate. Chen Qingyun looked carefully and found that the water in the pool was a liquid with thunder properties. From time to time, thunder and clouds would appear. If it were an ordinary monk who saw these thunder-attributed pools of water, he might not be able to recognize their origin. In the past 10 years, Chen Qingyun has read through the ancient books of the 5 Elements sect and books on various rare and precious spiritual objects, and his awareness has been greatly improved. He looked at the liquid in the pool again, stretched out his hand to touch it, and felt a tingling warmth. A name appeared in Chen Qingyun's mind. Deep Sea Thunder Spring. The so-called Deep Sea Thunder Spring is a liquid with thunder properties, and it requires 2 conditions for its birth. Deep Sea and Thunder Spirit veins of level 3 and above. With this foundation, after another 300 years of gestation, continuously extracting thunder attribute spiritual energy day and night, and extracting the essence of water from sea water, this deep sea thunder spring will be formed. This product has the effect of cleansing the bones and getting rid of inner demons. If it is refined and consumed by thunder attribute spiritual beasts or monks, it can also improve some realms of cultivation. At this moment, the most excited person was Moling. After killing the thunderstorm beast decades ago, Moling got a chance and advanced in the thunder pool when he encountered it. Now, this better deep sea thunder spring is in front of him, which makes Moling's eyes shine and he wants to rush in and have a feast. Don't worry, there are so many portions, and your share is indispensable, Chen Qingyun said with a smile, and Moling restrained himself. To collect deep sea thunder fountain, it is best to use a wooden container to preserve the best effect. Chen Qingyun used the thunderwood beads to create a huge kettle container, collected the deep sea thunder spring here, and continued to explore what other treasures there were. A few dozen breaths later, Chen Qingyun turned into a rainbow and flew out of the sea. Not far away from the south, a group of demon cultivators from the Royal Crab Cave came to support them. The number was more than 6,000, led by 10 giant and demon kings. With this unexpected encounter, Chen Qingyun naturally would not let go of the demon pill delivered to his door, and stepped forward to start the battle. A golden rainbow divine light burst through the air and immediately exploded. 3 golden elixir demon kings, a dozen demon cultivators followed and exploded into clouds of blood mist. The enemy is attacking, it's those sharks. Some demon cultivators shouted warnings, but were frightened by the power exerted by the golden rainbow bow and fled in a panic, not daring to touch it. The bloodline level of these monster crabs has reached the 3rd level of high grade. They can perform combined attack formations and have strong attack power. This level of battle was completely a one-sided crushing by Chen Qingyun. Soon after, this support team was almost wiped out, and no demon cultivator escaped. The only surviving giant and demon cultivator was left behind by Chen Qingyun for interrogation. Under the effect of the divine questioning technique, Chen Qingyun asked whatever the other party answered, and asked about this operation. We came to support Layman Cave in accordance with the order of the king to repel those mermaids. There are 2 other teams also moving together, and they are estimated to have reached Layman Cave. What are the lineups of the other 2 teams? Same as ours. Hearing this, Chen Qingyun lost interest in asking. This demon ancestor hall actually sent 3 troops to support Layman Cave, and their strength was not that strong. It was more like a symbolic support, sending these cannon fodder for show. There are 2 more supporting troops, without the participation of the Yuanying Demon King, so they are not very attractive. This time, the continuous raids and several battles consumed a lot of mana, so Chen Qingyun was not going to stay any longer. As for the 3 cave forces, there were many Yuanying Demon Kings in charge there, and because of the danger of alerting the enemy must have set up a trap to guard against it, so this was not a good time to raid. Chen Qingyun was not going to go there for the time being, so as not to attract the encirclement and suppression of the demon ancestor hall in the end. In this operation, he killed 6 Yuanying Demon Kings in a row, which was very satisfying. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 917, Suppressing the Demon Ancestor Palace. Chen Qingyun put away his clone, and the Immortal Palace flew back to the storage ring. And then he left the Sea of Thousand Monsters and returned to the Star Sea. In just one day, the Kua Snake Cave, the Red Shark Cave, and the Thunder Eel Cave were destroyed one after another. This news could not be covered up at all. On the 2nd day, it spread throughout the Sea of Thousand Monsters and even spread to the Star Sea, causing quite a stir. In the Demon Ancestor Palace, the 3-headed dragon was furious and summoned several late-stage Yuanying Demon Kings to mention this matter. One Demon King said angrily, "My king, we suffered heavy losses this time. Those mermaids are really hateful. They had to take advantage of this time to attack us. They didn't take us seriously at all." The other Demon Kings also expressed their opinions and spoke one after another. "There are 6 Yuanyings. When will the mermaids be able to spare these people to infiltrate us? How come these mermaids are getting stronger and stronger? While they are fighting against the 3 sects of Huanhai and Tongshan Demon Sea, they still have the energy to come here to cause trouble. Their strength cannot be underestimated." Well, the disaster that Shinshui Mansion encountered decades ago was planned by the mermaids. Now, Shinshui Mansion still hates the mermaids and has always regarded them as mortal enemies. They kill them one by one without mercy. Listening to the discussions of several capable generals under his command, the 3-headed dragon raised his hand, and the atmosphere immediately fell into silence, and several demon kings shut up. The 3-headed dragon looked thoughtful and said, "From the information we received, it is most likely that the mermaids did this. At least the Xinghai side does not have the ability to cultivate so many Yuanying cultivators at once. Even if they are Xingzun, what can they do? They are lucky to have 3 Yuanying cultivators." As soon as the 3-headed dragon finished speaking, several demon kings nodded. "Your Majesty is wise. You expected it to be like this." "Yes, in a small Xinghai, 3 Yuanying cultivators were born. They are lucky." "Yes. How could 6 more Yuanying cultivators be born?" "Based on their understanding of the Xinghai, they do not have so many resources to cultivate 9 Yuanying cultivators. If that is the case, then the people who attacked the Kuish cave, the Red Shark Cave, and the Thunder Eel Cave must be the mermaids. After all, the mermaids have done this kind of thing many times. From now on, you must guard your own little piece of land and don't give the Black Dragon Palace and the Divine Water Palace a chance to take advantage of the situation. During this special period, we must be extremely vigilant. Yes. Several demon kings nodded in agreement, not daring to disobey. The three-headed dragon acted cautiously and continued to issue orders. As for the three caves of Snake, Red Shark, and Thunder Man, there is no need to rebuild them in the future. The territories they vacated will be divided and merged by the other three caves. That's it. As soon as this order was issued, several demon kings below were secretly happy. They were not from the Snake, Red Shark, and Thunder Man caves, but from the other three. This will expand the territory and divide the benefits, so no one will miss it. The six cave forces under the Demon Ancestor Hall are usually in a state of competition with each other, and there are frictions from time to time. Only under the call of the Demon Ancestor Hall will they unite to face the outside world. For internal fighting like this, the competition among demon cultivators is extremely fierce because the rule of the survival of the fittest is more widely spread. Even if the three-headed dragon did not issue this order, they would secretly divide up the territory left by the three caves of the Kuish. When the Demon Ancestor Palace made some moves. On the other two sides, the Black Dragon Palace and the Divine Water Palace learned that the Demon Ancestor Palace had been seriously injured this time, and 6 demon kings had been lost, together with those killed in the Sea of Stars. The number reached 9. Faced with such a rare opportunity, the Black Dragon Palace took the lead in taking action and sent troops to invade the sea area of the Demon Ancestor Palace and began to nibble away. Although the Divine Water Palace has rarely invaded abroad in recent years, it has checked and contained the Black Dragon Palace and the Demon Ancestor Palace, and no large-scale battles will break out. But this time, seeing the crisis facing the Demon Ancestor Palace, it has already caused itself to be in a weak period. This made the Divine Water Palace formulate a plan overnight. While guarding against the Black Dragon Palace, it also sent troops to invade the territory of the Demon Ancestor Palace and took the opportunity to capture the city. Compared with the Demon Ancestor Palace, the Black Dragon Palace lost 2 demon kings each, which is really nothing. Chen Qingyun did not continue to attack the Demon Ancestor Palace and uproot this force. Instead, the Black Dragon Palace and the Divine Water Palace took over this class, shifting the focus from the Star Sea and Penglai Fairyland to the Demon Ancestor Palace, and began to suppress the Demon Ancestor Palace, wanting to divide it step by step. The loss of 9 Yuanying demon kings made the Demon Ancestor Palace no longer sufficient to contain the Black Dragon Palace alone. How could any party in the Divine Water Palace resist the erosion of these two forces? In order to protect itself, the Demon Ancestor Palace recalled all the demon cultivators operating around the Star Sea and Penglai Fairyland and gave up the invasion. This reduced the number of demon beasts in the Star Sea Demon Tide, leaving only the demon cultivators of the Black Dragon Palace and the Divine Water Palace making trouble, which further accelerated the rhythm of the end of the Star Sea Demon Tide. After returning to the Star Sea, on Yanwu Island, Chen Qingyun began to count the spoils of this trip, and a large number of items were dumped into the Blessed Land Pearl. This time, he obtained 6 5th-level demon pills. There were also green yuan fruit trees, Dragon Ball grass, deep-sea thunder springs, and some spiritual herbs and medicines. After a statistics, all the clones followed to count, and the spiritual stones harvested were more than 120 million, and there were more than 600 top-grade spiritual stones. Demon cultivators are not good at trade, they mainly exchange equal value in refining pills and tools, and the spiritual stones they reserve are not many. Half of these spiritual stones were obtained from the storage bags of the 6 demon kings. There were also some spiritual talismans, elixirs, formations, etc. What made Chen Qingyun take a closer look were some illusion grass and transformation techniques. This illusion grass has the function of helping demon beasts change their appearance and body shape. It is just not as good as the better transformation grass. It is widely circulated in the 10,000 Demon Sea and is one of the mainstream ways of transformation. There are 3 other transformation techniques, all of which allow demon beasts to practice. The entry difficulty is low. After mastering it, they can transform into a half-human and half-demon state and understand the human language. Most of the demon cultivators in the 10,000 Demon Sea transform through these 2 methods and become half-human and half-demon forms. Only those Yuanying demon kings can truly transform into humans, stimulate spiritual wisdom, and achieve the effect of cultivating into humans. This is the characteristic of the 10,000 Demon Sea, the popular transformation into humans, while the demon beasts in the Star Sea prefer to keep their original appearance. As for the cultivation method, Chen Qingyun was not interested in it. It was basically incompatible with humans and only suitable for monsters to practice. As for the monster pills, when killing monsters, some monsters could escape. This time, the attack was still on the core areas of Kuish Cave, Red Shark Cave, and Thundereel Cave, so it could not be considered that all the monster cultivators in these 3 caves were annihilated. Chapter 918, Peak of the Nascent Soul. The number of these undamaged demon pills that have been preserved is just over 20,000. In terms of grade, it is basically from 2nd to 5th level. The demon elixirs of 1st level demon beasts are basically destroyed in the battle, and not all demon elixirs can be completely preserved. As for the 5th level demon elixir, it can be used in the future. This is a scarce resource. The remaining 2nd to 4th level demon pills have little effect on Chen Qingyun. It is not easy to exchange all of these for Xingzong into battle achievements, so as not to expose too much strength and cause shock. It's hard to explain where the more than 20,000 2nd to 5th level demon pills came from. It can't be said that he alone destroyed the 3 forces in Kuish Cave. When the time comes, the Demon Ancestor Palace will be able to find out through the internal response that it was Chen Qingyun who did it. Chen Qingyun would not do this kind of thing, exposing himself and causing trouble for the family for the sake of military exploits. It's better to be honest and exchange part of the demon elixir obtained in the Sea of Stars for military merit, and then exchange it for the family. As for magical weapons, a lot has been gained. All demon cultivators basically have one hand at a time, and have acquired more than 25,000 in total, mostly 1st and 2nd level magic weapons. The gap between the ratio of demon cultivators and demon beasts is quite large. In terms of spiritual treasures, there are 4 in total. The wealth of these demon emperors is worse than giving up and killing them. Among them, the 2 demon kings in Red Shark Cave still used their own magic treasures, which was a pity. Otherwise they could have obtained 2 or 3 more spiritual treasures. After sorting it out, Chen Qingyun decomposed all the acquired magic weapons, and the strengthening points quickly increased. Strengthening points plus 21212, strengthening points plus 39192, strengthening points plus 29304. In one breath, 2,211,216 strengthening points were obtained. Including the previous remaining points of more than 400,000 points, the total is 2,617,289 points, which made Chen Qingyun's eyes brighten. More than 2.6 million strengthening points are enough to strengthen the peak nascent soul clone. This time I raided the forces under the Demon Ancestor Palace and gained a lot. 2. Strengthen from the 5th level top grade to the 5th grade top grade. 2,322,432 strengthening points are needed, all of which increased in multiples. Chen Qingyun did not hesitate and took out Baoang for strengthening. As Baoang's body flashed with light, the mana in the 5 elements nascent soul increased dramatically, revealing an even more powerful aura. The peak of nascent soul. In the blink of an eye, he obtained a peak nascent soul clone, which made Chen Qingyun couldn't help but smile. There are still 294,857 strengthening points left, and Chen Qingyun plans to keep them. It will be even better if he can raise Jiuyu to the peak of nascent soul in the future. After completing his own strengthening, Chen Qingyun turned his attention to the green yuan fruit tree and transplanted these 3 trees to Foodie Pearl. Judging from the fruits produced on the tree, it will take up to 10 years for the fruits to mature, and one tree can bear about 30 fruits. 10 years later, these green yuan fruits will be used to stimulate the 6-winged miasma cloud bees and golden-winged insects to reproduce. By then, the number of spiritual insects will increase, and the advantage will become more obvious. Chen Qingyun has some expectations. The more spiritual insects there are, the stronger they will be. Then, he looked at the deep-sea thunder spring. In order to store these thunder springs, he began to command a clone, cast wood magic, and built a pond on the spot, and then placed all the deep-sea thunder springs in it. Mo Ling flew over after smelling the scent and landed on the edge. He looked at the spring water and the pond, with bursts of light surging in his eyes. "Go ahead." Seeing Mo Ling's greedy look, Chen Qingyun touched Mo Ling's wings lovingly. "Let's see what you can gain this time." Mo Ling screamed happily, jumped up, and jumped into the pond with a splash. Looking carefully, I saw a large number of deep-sea thunder springs shining with silver light, sizzling and wrapping around Mo Ling's body, leaving only a big head exposed. No matter how you look at it, it's like taking a bath. Mo Ling is now at the peak of the golden core stage. If he advances again, he can reach the nascent soul level. I wonder if this promotion is possible based on Mo Ling's bloodline. Chen Qingyun watched it with interest for a while, looking forward to Mo Ling's advancement to the nascent soul stage. Mo Ling heard this muttering and called out to Chen Qingyun twice, meaning that there was a possibility and he could look forward to it. Knowing that Mo Ling had this confidence, Chen Qingyun was delighted, and then he also entered Liikan and tried to baptize the Tao body. Although there are no inner demons and no hidden diseases, washing the whole body with this kind of spiritual spring can also have some effects on nourishing the Taoist body. After entering the thunder spring, Chen Qingyun only felt a tingling warmth all over his body. A large amount of thunder attribute power travels through the meridians in the body, converging in the internal organs and the sea of consciousness in the Danshan, bringing bursts of powerful fullness. It lasted for 3 days. When he gradually felt that the thunder spring was taking effect on himself, Chen Qingyun ended the baptism. After this bath, there was no improvement in cultivation. But what attracted Chen Qingyun's attention was that the power of Tianyan's double swords had been improved somewhat, by about 30%. The 2 Tianyan swords themselves possess the power of thunder and have miraculous effects on restraining demons. Now it is also nourished by the deep-sea thunder spring, which is somewhat unexpected. This deep-sea thunder spring actually has an effect on the Tianyan twin swords. If you keep nourishing it in this thunder spring, will it continue to increase in power and have a chance to be promoted to a middle-grade spiritual treasure? You can give this conjecture a try. Chen Qingyun is not sure whether this deep-sea thunder spring has other effects and can assist the advancement of thunder attribute magic weapons. He took out the Tianyan double swords and placed them in the thunder spring. They were all submerged and covered. There will be more observations later. When he looked at Mo Ling's condition, he saw that Mo Ling's whole body was wrapped in a large amount of thunder power, and his black feathers were shining with silver luster. Looking at the situation, it won't be advanced for a while. Then we can only wait patiently. Chen Qingyun left the Blessed Land Pearl and appeared outside for more than 10 days. On this day, Xingzun invited Chen Qingyun to meet to discuss the exchange of 5th-level demon pills. The head of the Star Sect came together and met Chen Qingyun on Hunyuan Island. Xingzun said straight to the point, the 5th-level monsters are difficult to kill, and there are not many in number. After our discussion, the exchange value of these monster pills can be regarded as 10 million battle merits. In addition, military exploits are only one of the rewards. There is also a second reward. Xingzun said with a smile, focusing on Chen Qingyun. Fellow Taoist Chen has made great contributions this time. You can read all the kung fu books collected by our Xing sect at will in the future. What do you think? The Xingzong has ruled the Xinghai for more than 1,000 years, and has collected many martial arts books, covering all areas of the Xinghai. It can be called a treasure trove of knowledge. Chapter 919. The battle is over. Record your military achievements. Chen Qingyun was already interested in the nascent soul technique of Xingzong, so he would not mind getting to know it more, and naturally he would not refuse this reward. So, Chen Qingyun nodded. Thank you very much. Haha, you are polite, fellow Taoist Chen. Xingzong admired Chen Qingyun very much and said, after this battle is over, you can come to my Xingzong as a guest anytime in the future. We welcome you at any time and will not restrict you in any way. After making the promise, Xingzong mentioned the division of the 5th level monster beasts, took out Wuda's corpse, and started to divide it on the spot. The 3 of us worked together to kill Wuda of the Divine Water Mansion, so how about we divide this Demon King equally? Chen Qingyun is not short of 5th level demon pills now, so in theory, there is nothing wrong with Xingzong's proposal. Okay. Chen Qingyun nodded in agreement. The 3 divided Wuda's body. The Xingzong leader selected bones and flesh, and Xingzong specifically required 5th level demon pills to refine pills. This 5th level demon pill can be used to refine the nascent soul pill, which increases the chance of a cultivator breaking through the nascent soul stage by 10%. It is expected that 3 to 4 pills can be refined. How about this? As long as the refining is successful, each of you can get 1. I only want this demon pill, and the rest of the resources will be divided among you. The nascent soul pill is beneficial to the family, so Chen Qingyun had no reason to refuse, so he agreed, and then divided the corpse of the Demon King with the Star Sect Master, and obtained some claws and fur. Next, Xingzong mentioned the situation of the Star Sea Monster tide. According to the current situation, the demon beasts that poured into the Star Sea have been cleared by 80% to 90%, and it is about to end successfully. This time, Chen Qingyun made a great contribution to the Star Sea, killing a total of 9 nascent soul demon kings. This achievement directly caused the Demon Ancestor Hall to withdraw from the Star Sea Monster Tide War. It had to put all its combat power on resisting the Black Dragon Palace and the Divine Water Palace. It was already too busy to take care of itself, so how could it have the energy to care about the Star Sea? Both the Black Dragon Palace and the Divine Water Palace chose to slow down their attacks on Xinghai and Penglai Fairyland, and used more troops to divide the Demon Ancestor Hall. The pressure of the Xinghai Demon Tide was greatly reduced. In the following months, it would be easy to clear out some of the remnants of the demon beasts, and Xingzong could complete it. The monks who participated in the expedition were ready to return home and end the battle. When it came to this, Xingzong glanced at Chen Qingyun and mentioned that the 3 caves of Kuo Snake, Red Shark, and Thunder Eel were wiped out. Fellow Taoist Chen, have you heard about that recently? The Demon Ancestor Hall was wiped out by the Mermaid tribe, and 6 demon kings were killed. This incident is a blessing to our Xinghai. The news has spread, and Xingzong's question could not have been just a casual question. Chen Qingyun heard the intention behind it and nodded calmly. Seeing that Chen Qingyun didn't speak, the Xingzong leader obviously didn't want to mention this matter, so he laughed and said, the mermaids in the Mermaid Sea have a life and death feud with the demon cultivators in the 10,000 Demon Sea. This time, those mermaids attacked and severely damaged the Demon Ancestor Temple, which can be regarded as helping us to a certain extent. However, in terms of strength, the mermaid tribe dispatched 6 mermaids at once. This strength is indeed not to be underestimated. Chen Qingyun listened quietly, secretly guessing in his heart that the 2 Xingzong probably guessed something and suspected that the people who raided the 3 parties of Kuish Cave were not mermaids. It seems that they suspected themselves. When Chen Qingyun was pondering, Xingzong and the Xingzong leader were also silent, each thinking about something. It happened that during that period, Chen Qingyun disappeared and was not on Yunwu Island. Was it just a coincidence? Knowing that if he asked further, he would probably offend Chen Qingyun, so as long as the result was good for Xinghai, it would be fine. No matter how Chen Qingyun did it, or what secrets he had, he must not investigate at this time. Xingzong and the other 2 exchanged polite words and left. Watching the backs of Xingzong and the other 2 leaving, Chen Qingyun was already somewhat certain in his heart. The two must have guessed that the destruction of the three parties in Kuish Cave must have something to do with him. However, fortunately, as fellow Xinghai cultivators, they had common interests and would not make a big fuss over this matter. In the following 10 days, Chen Qingyun showed his divine power in Ningxing Island and killed Shuang. Later, he killed Himeng in the Western Theater and Suotai in the Northern Theater. The story has spread throughout Xinghai and attracted a lot of attention. While many cultivators were amazed at Chen Qingyun's strength, they also admired and yearned for the Chen family of Linjian Island even more. The Chen family has produced a Yuanying cultivator, which is incredible. There are hidden dragons and crouching tigers. This is the Chen family. Over the years, the Chen family has brought us many surprises. Senior Chen has killed 3 demon kings in a row. Such an amazing record is really gratifying. The Chen family has received great attention, and there are often fiery and admiring eyes around Chen Qingyun. Yuanying cultivators are a stabilizing force for Xinghai, and this time the killing of 3 demon kings has greatly boosted morale. The battle is still going on, and the morale of the Xinghai cultivators is getting higher and higher. They take the initiative to attack and eliminate monsters and earn military merits. In a blink of an eye, more than half a year has passed. The Chen family has carried out several missions, tracking in the Eastern Theater, and annihilating 3 second-level beast tides. During this period, they also went to the Northern Theater, stationed in a city, eliminated the siege beast tide, and saved the mortal town. At present, the scale of these beast tides is not large. Most of them are hundreds or thousands of beasts wandering around and scattered in various places. Now, this battle has lasted for 2 years. Xingzong has begun to issue a notice that everyone can exchange resources and treasures for each other. After completing the registration, they can go home. This means that this Xinghai monster tide has ended, and many cultivators have begun to register their war merits and exchange resources. Chen Qingyun is not going to stay here. He intends to return to Linjian Island. He has counted the monster pills he has obtained in the past 2 years and is also preparing to register. If you don't count it, you won't know. Once you count it, you will be shocked. In just 2 years, the number of monsters killed on the Xinghai front has reached more than 45,000, including 3 5th-level monster pills. The war merit points that can be obtained in this battle have reached 31.32 million. Not counting the 3 5th-level monster pills, just the number of 1.32 million monsters can only be obtained by the joint efforts of some giant families and hundreds of people. This is equivalent to destroying more than 3 first-level beast tides in a row, and you need to go to the front line and fight bravely. Generally, the appearance of a first-level beast tide requires a team of 5,000 people, plus more than 2 giant monks to lead the team to clear it, or multiple teams to work together. First kill the giant monster king and the purple mansion monster, and the remaining thousands of low-level monsters will be cleaned up by the Taoist friends in the back. This is the most common way to fight. For example, it is very rare to kill tens of thousands of monsters alone. Chen Qingyun followed the family monks and went to Hanli Island together, choosing to register and exchange here. Chapter 920, 10 million level military merit. Chen Qingyun went to the registration office, where many people had gathered. When they saw Chen Qingyun coming, more than a dozen sharp-eyed cultivators quickly gave up their seats and greeted Chen Qingyun with a smile. "Senior is here." "Greetings, Senior." The Xingzong cultivator in charge of registration also recognized Chen Qingyun and greeted him respectfully. "Senior." Chen Qingyun nodded lightly, took out a storage bag, and signaled the other party to register his military exploits. The Xingzong cultivator was named Lu Zhen, a young female cultivator, and her cultivation was in the middle stage of foundation building. When she took the storage bag and looked inside, she immediately opened her mouth in surprise, revealing an expression of disbelief. So many. Everyone saw this look and guessed something. Then, Lu Zhen's words made the expression on her face shift to the faces of the people around her. "Senior, if I'm not mistaken, there are at least 4.40,000 demon pills. And 3 5th-level demon pills. This statistics took 3 or 4 hours. Lu Xun first registered all the demon pills from the 1st to 4th levels, allowing Chen Qingyun to gain 1.32 million war merits. As for the 3 5th level demon pills, although she received the sect's order that 1 pill equaled 10 million war merits, they could be registered. But registering this level of demon pills still alarmed other Xingzong cultivators, who came to watch and wanted to see the appearance of the 5th level demon pills. Jizhen, Lu Shengyang, and Madame Liangxin were all attracted to receive Chen Qingyun's registration. The income of more than 30 million war merits shocked Jizhen, Madame Liangxin and others, and even the surrounding cultivators. When they knew there were 3 5th level demon pills, they didn't understand how Chen Qingyun got them. Previously, the news that Hai Meng and Suo Tai were killed in the western and northern war zones caused a sensation. It was said that it was Chen Qingyun of the Chen family who did it. Now, looking back, this news has indeed been verified. He can actually kill the Demon King of the early and middle stages of the nascent soul, and has reached such a high level now. Looking at Chen Qingyun's current achievements, Jizhen felt a little complicated. It is hard to imagine that the Taoist friend who once fought side by side in the secluded Immortal Palace has now reached the realm of the nascent soul and can kill the Demon King of the middle stage of the nascent soul. Looking at myself again, I am only in the early stage of the Golden Core. Even if I can reach the middle stage of the Golden Core soon, it is still a small witch in front of Chen Qingyun, and there is no comparison. This made Jizhen sigh. And there was a lot more admiration and appreciation in her eyes when she looked at Chen Qingyun. Lu Shengyang laughed and congratulated him. Senior Chen, congratulations. This is the first time I have seen so many military exploits. It really broadened my horizons. This is the first person to have made merit in our campaign. I admire you. When Lu Shengyang said this, he was recognized by Madame Liangxin and many cultivators. Lu Shengyang personally received the guests this time, and together with Lu Xun and several other fellow disciples, they carefully registered all the demon pills in the book, and then said respectfully, "Senior, a total of 31.32 million military exploits, please check." After another 30 million military exploits were obtained, Lu Xun handed over all the registered demon pills to Chen Qingyun. These demon pills did not need to be handed in, they could be exchanged for the family after returning. The price was not just this number, but much higher. Chen Qingyun nodded, put away the storage bag, and then went to the resource exchange office. In the eyes of everyone, Jizhen guessed what Chen Qingyun was going to do, and immediately looked at Lu Shengyang, and followed him. 31.32 million war merits, my god, so much. If I had so many war merits, I would wake up with a smile in my dreams, and I would definitely break through to the Golden Core stage. Hey, give me 100,000 war merits, and I will be satisfied if I can exchange for a piece of purple mansion crystal. Amidst the voices of envy, Chen Qingyun came to the resource exchange place, and the one in charge of reception was Jizhen. There are a lot of resources collected on this Hanli Island recently, because many cultivators have exchanged here. It seems lively. Chen Qingyun is now at a high level of cultivation, and is not interested in most of the resources here. After browsing, he exchanged some rare refining and formation materials here, which can be used to improve refining and formation in the near future. As for the rest of the elixir, talismans, etc., he is not interested. After the exchange, the remaining war merits can be transferred to the family later, so that the family can exchange some needed resources. This kind of transfer of war merit is very common in the Immortal Cultivation family, and Xingzong will not interfere. Chen Qingyun found Chen Daoran and Chen Qingyun and mentioned the transfer of war merit. The family needs to exchange more things recently, and some more merit can be transferred from him. Chen Daoran heard this and smiled and said, "If possible, we will exchange for a few more purple mansion crystals. It would be good if we can also exchange for wood spirit essence water, warm sun water jade, or even snow spirit fairy dew. The spiritual objects that assist in opening up the purple mansion and forming pills are what the family needs most at present, and there is no such thing as too much. The rest of the pills, formations, talismans, etc., the family can already produce them by themselves. After discussing with Chen Daoran, Chen Qingyun took out 3 million war merits to exchange for the family. More war merits will be returned and less will be supplemented. After returning to the family, Chen Qingyun will take the equivalent of spirit stones or resources from the family. According to the rules of the war, the merits of this Xinghai monster tide can be exchanged in Xingzong in the next 10 years. In the next few days, the family monks are also registering their merits and exchanging them for some resources. According to Chen Daoran's statistics, the total number of merits won by all the family monks who participated in this war, excluding Chen Qingyun, reached more than 1.9 million. The harvest of this war is not bad. I remember that in the war 100 years ago, 9 people from our Chen family participated and the total merits won were 190,000. Most of it is still your credit, Qingyun. Chen Daoran recalled. The amount of merit this time has increased tenfold. If you count yours, it will be even more. These 1.9 million merits are not small. After counting them, Chen Daoran was also very surprised. However, on second thought, this is equivalent to killing 1,900 purple mansion monsters, or 19,000 foundation building monsters. Chen Qingyun and Chen Qingyun are both giant and cultivators, so it is easy for them to earn military merits. Killing a giant and monster will earn them 10,000 military merits. In addition, controlling a 5th level puppet to fight, it is no problem for them to destroy a 1st level beast tide alone, and they can easily destroy 10,000 monsters. If you think about it this way, it is not surprising that they can get so many military merits. Chen Daoran, Chen Qingyun, Chen Qingyun, and Chen Qingyun, the 4 of them have won most of the military merits. The military merits of other family cultivators are uneven, and the military merits rewarded by the missions are added together to reach this amount. Chapter 921 Returning in Triumph. As for the casualties of the family cultivators, 21 people have been lost, including 1 foundation building cultivator and 20 qi refining cultivators. In terms of the increase in the cultivation level of the family members, only one of the Nyan generation has broken through to the purple mansion, and this person is Chen Qingyun. In the early days, Chen Qingyun showed a good talent. After getting married, his cultivation level did not fall behind, and he continued to practice diligently. It was expected that he could break through the purple mansion period this time. As for the foundation building cultivators, 3 more people have been added to the family, 2 of the Jin generation and 1 of the Zi generation, who are rising stars. In the past few decades, the family has been willing to give resources to the cultivation of the new generation of cultivators, and has paid more attention to the cultivation of moral character. When they go back this time, due to the exchange of some cultivation resources, the foundation building and purple mansion cultivators in the family will increase again, and the overall strength will be significantly improved. The current Xinghai monster tide can be said to be an opportunity for the Chen family of this size. In addition, all cultivators who participate in the war can get a reward of 1,000 spirit stones. With the military merits in hand, the clan members began to exchange for some desired resources. Compared with the last session, this time there is no need to focus on exchanging for foundation building pills, as the family can already produce them by itself. There is some demand for purple palace crystals, and Chen Daoran means that they will work together to exchange 2 or 3 pieces. Chen Qingyun only took a look at these matters and did not intervene. Due to the influence brought by Chen Qingyun, the exchange matters of the Chen family cultivators were all received by Jizun and Lu Shengyang in person. The 2 knew that the Chen family would definitely make a big move to exchange for some precious resources. As expected, in the exchange list given by Chen Daoran, there were 3 purple palace crystals and 2 bottles of snow spirit dew. This time, Xingzong prepared 12 purple palace crystals, and there are currently 5 remaining. Lu Shengyang exchanged 3 for the Chen family in accordance with the regulations. As for snow spirit dew, since Xingzong controls a cold crystal mine, it can stably produce such spiritual objects. In order to attract monks to participate in the war, 3 bottles were taken out for the monks to exchange, and each bottle was 2 million spirit stones according to the lowest market price. At present, there was only one bottle left, which was also exchanged for Chen Daoran. Although Chen Daoran felt a little sorry for only exchanging a bottle of snow spirit dew. But fortunately, there was also a portion of wood spirit essence water, which was worth 700,000 spirit stones, so he exchanged this as a second choice. This exchange just cost 3 million war merits. After everyone exchanged on Hanli Island, Chen Qingyun and Lu Shangyang informed them and set off with a group of clansmen to return home, ending this war and returning to Lingjian Island. Lu Shangyang was very enthusiastic and suggested that the Xingzong spirit ship could be sent to escort the Hui clan, which was also one of the benefits of participating in the war. At the Hanli Island Wharf, dozens of Xingzong warships gathered here to escort the monks back home. The Yu family, Zhang family, Zhu family and other major families, as well as the monks of Lingbao Mountain, all chose Xingzong to escort them home. Witnessing the end of the 2-year campaign, the young master was fine, and Yu Lingshu secretly accompanied him, preparing to return to Lingjian Island together. Everyone took the Xingzong spirit ship and then took the teleportation array to the inner star sea. With the Xingzong continuing to escort them, they arrived at Lingjian Island half a month later. Zhang lied. The Xingzong cultivator in charge of guarding the Chen family, had received the news long ago, and came out to greet him with Chen Xianming, Chen Dalin and others. "You are back. I heard that our Chen family shined in the campaign this time, and the heat was very high. It seems that everything went well this time." Chen Dalin said. His eyes fell on Chen Qingyun, Chen Qingyun, Chen Qingyun and others, and noticed the number of cultivators who returned triumphantly. Don't think that Chen Xianming and others did not participate in the war and stayed on Lingjian Island. In fact, in the past 2 years, I have been paying attention to the battle situation of the Xinghai monster tide and the dynamics of Chen Qingyun and others. For these battle intelligence, Xingzong will also pass it to the Chen family and share it together. Chen Dalin, Chen Qinggu and others were shocked to learn that Chen Qingyun had broken through the nascent soul stage early, and then showed his power on the battlefield and killed the demon king of Kuish Cave. Just when they were immersed in this shock, they learned that Chen Qingyun continued to make big moves and killed 2 demon kings of Shinshui Mansion, which once again made the Chen family explode. So much so that during that period, the Chen family was extremely excited. Some young children even jumped up and down excitedly, and regarded Chen Qingyun as an idol. When they heard that Chen Qingyun had formed a nascent soul, the old generation of cultivators expected it and did not think it was so incredible. However, those new cultivators of the Jin, Zi, and Shu generations found it unbelievable. It was originally heard that Chen Qingyun, the Kailan son of the family, was amazing, and his cultivation level was far ahead of the family, and even the clan leader was ashamed of himself. Now, he is actually a nascent soul cultivator, at the same level as a big man like Xingzong. If it weren't for the news from Xingzong, and the facts in front of me, I would really feel like I was dreaming. Chen Qingyun was regarded as the focus, and was pulled aside by Chen Dalin, Chen Qinggu and others, and he kept hearing praise and compliments. Those younger cultivators, who were not familiar with Chen Qingyun, just watched from afar. Becoming a Yuanying cultivator, great, great. I didn't expect that I could see such a family grand occasion in my lifetime. Chen Qinggu said with great satisfaction. I believe that if this news was told to Chen Ping and Li Xiang, they would also be very happy and feel that their son is really promising. Among the younger generations of the family, Qingyun is still the most promising. I have been eating salt for decades more than Qingyun, and my cultivation has only reached the purple mansion stage. In terms of refining skills, Qingyun is also higher than me. Chen Daoran said with a smile. Chen Qingfeng said, Qingyun gave birth to a baby a long time ago and has been keeping this secret. Unexpectedly, he will shine in the battle. Ha 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 ha. Our Chen family's reputation is getting louder and louder. The elders talked to each other about how the baby was born, which Chen Qingyun naturally would not reveal. Several family elders did not ask, they all knew it in their minds, guessing that it might be related to the incarnation of the 5 elements. It was a time when the family was busy and it was time to celebrate their triumphant return. Chen Xianmin suggested, "Qingyun, you can reach such a height in the nascent soul stage, you should have a banquet to celebrate. It just so happens that this battle is over and you have gained a lot, you should be happy. I don't think it's better to do this. Let's hold a nascent soul banquet together while I can help you with the wind and wash away the dust." From the time the family was promoted to the Zaifu level to the Golden Elixir, banquets were held to celebrate them to enhance the family's morale and prestige. Chen Xianming's proposal was immediately approved by Chen Dalin. Yes, I think this is what we have to do. Recently, the cultivation atmosphere in the family is not as good as before, and some juniors who like to be lazy have appeared. Holding the nascent soul banquet this time will not only encourage the younger generations to actively cultivate, but also enhance the influence of the family. Let the outside world see that our Chen family is already a nascent soul family, one of the best in the Sea of Stars. I think it's okay. I've been looking forward to this day for a long time. Our Chen family has been further promoted to the Yuanying family. Chen Daoran also nodded and agreed to hold a grand banquet. Chapter 922 Yuanying Banquet. Seeing the enthusiasm of the clan members, Chen Qingyun did not refuse and followed Chen Xianming's proposal. When the family's influence is further enhanced, it can deter the surrounding forces. In the future, when he goes to the inland to make a living, he does not have to worry about the fire in the backyard. Seeing that Chen Qingyun had no objection, Chen Xianming looked at Liu Zilin and said with a smile, "Fellow Taoist Liu, why don't you stay in our Chen family for a while, just in time to attend this banquet?" Liu Zilin followed Chen Qingyun back to Lingjian Island. She was not going to return to Lingbao Mountain for the time being, and nodded in response, "Okay." Liu Zilin stayed on Lingjian Island and lived with Chen Qingyun. In the following days, Chen Daoran and Chen Xianming discussed and counted the resources and spiritual objects brought back this time. He also mentioned that Chen Qingyun borrowed 3 million war merits. Knowing that Chen Qingyun's move had exchanged spiritual objects for the family to open up the Purple Mansion and condense the Golden Elixir, Chen Xianming was very pleased and couldn't help but sigh. A bottle of snow spirit dew, a bottle of wood spirit essence water, and 3 pieces of purple palace crystal. Qingyun has always taken good care of us and brought too many benefits to the family. I can't count how many times this kid has benefited the family. On the contrary, I, as an elder, have not contributed as much to the family as this kid. I am really a little ashamed to say that." Hearing Chen Xianming's sigh, Chen Daoran smiled bitterly and said, "Qingyun has always been blessed with great fortune. He can achieve his current achievements and still think about the family wholeheartedly. This is really rare and precious. Our elders are indeed not as good as Qingyun in terms of their contributions to the family. I also hope that Qingyun can go further on the path of cultivating immortals, and one day he can reach the top and see the scenery we have always wanted to see." The 2 elders chatted for 4 or 5 hours. When they were about to go about their own business, Chen Qingyun came over. Since there are still many demon pills in hand, which he can't use at present, it's better to keep the 5th level demon pills. Chen Qingyun plans to exchange these demon pills for the family. After learning Chen Qingyun's idea, Chen Xianming and Chen Daoran didn't say much and nodded in agreement. But when they saw that Chen Qingyun took out more than 66,000 demon pills, they immediately took a breath of cold air. So many. Chen Daoran was particularly surprised, because when he was on Hanli Island before, he already knew how many war merits Chen Qingyun had registered, a total of more than 45,000. Among them, there were 3 5th-level demon pills, which caused quite a stir at the time. Now, where did these extra 21,000 come from? I haven't seen them registered before. Moreover, the quality of this batch of demon pills is good. At first glance, there is not a single 1st-level one, but all between 2nd and 4th levels. There are quite a few 4th-level demon pills, more than 100. Chen Daoran guessed something and couldn't help showing a serious look. Looking around. He also cast a barrier to block the sound and sight, leaving only the small space for the three people to talk. Qingyun, are these demon pills all obtained from? Where? Chen Daoran asked, and out of vigilance, the three words demon ancestor hall in his mouth changed to there. Knowing the source of these demon pills, Chen Daoran must be able to hide it, and Chen Qingyun nodded. Well, these demon pills are not very useful to me, and I will keep the rest for myself. The rest refers to the 6 5th-level demon pills. Looking at the two people playing dumb, Chen Xianming was just confused for a moment. After thinking about it carefully, he soon realized what was going on. A few months ago, the Kuish Cave, the Red Shark Cave, and the Thunder Eel Cave were wiped out by someone, and Chen Xianming and others naturally heard about it. Originally, they were still speculating and discussing that the strength of the mermaids was really strong. They sent out several Yuanying cultivators at one time to deal with the demon ancestor hall and kill the other side's 6 demon kings. The victory of this battle directly pushed the Xinghai demon tide to an end, which helped Xinghai a lot. Now, Chen Qingyun took out these demon pills, and after thinking carefully, he didn't know what was going on. Chen Qingyun had the trident in his hand. The two were shocked again, and felt that they could not see through Chen Qingyun more and more. In the end, these demon pills were of great value, enough for the family to cultivate many giant and monks. According to the family's spiritual stone reserves, it was impossible to pay Chen Qingyun so many spiritual stones. This made Chen Xianming feel troubled. He couldn't take advantage of this for nothing. But what in the family could be exchanged for these demon pills? In the end, it was Chen Qingyun who took the initiative to speak. These demon pills will stay in the family for the time being, and all of them will be registered. When the family members want to exchange them, they will be carefully calculated. When I need spirit stones in the future, I will take them according to the amount that has been exchanged. After hearing Chen Qingyun's proposal, Chen Xianming thought it was feasible and nodded. Okay. If you are not in a hurry to use the spirit stones, then let's do it. After getting the result, Chen Qingyun immediately mentioned the war merit. At present, he still has more than 28 million war merits left. Here, I decided to take out 10 million for the family to use. In the past 10 years, if the family wants to exchange something from Xingzong, just exchange it. How much war merit is spent later, just like the previous demon pills, the equivalent spirit stones or resources will be returned to Chen Qingyun. 10 million war merits. Chen Daoran opened his mouth. With so many war merits, he could exchange for a lot of good things. If converted into purple palace crystals, he could exchange for 100 yuan. Of course, the premise is that Xingzong can take out so many purple palace crystals. As for the remaining 18 million war merits, Chen Qingyun will keep them for himself for the time being. In the next 10 years, he will go to Xingzong to read the martial arts books. If he encounters some martial arts that he is interested in, he will exchange them and store them in the family, and he can also practice them himself. As for other resources, Xingzong has a very wide range of collections, and perhaps some rare materials, spiritual herbs and medicines can be obtained. After discussing with the old patriarch, Chen Qingyun said goodbye, attracting the two elders to see him off with happy smiles on their faces. In the next 2 months, almost all the cultivators who participated in the war on Linjian Island began to retreat and digest the gains of this time. Chen Xianming was in charge of the banquet, and chose a good day and set it in the middle of 6 months later. Some invitations were also sent out one after another. Time flies, and the day of the banquet has arrived. All the families and cultivators who received the invitations took time to attend. There were also many who were not invited, but they also took the initiative to visit the banquet. Most of them were Purple Mansion and Golden Core cultivators. On this day, 70% to 80% of the strong men in the Star Sea gathered at the Chen family. Li Mubing, Granny Zhu, Taoist Hongrai, Jizhen, etc., all the Purple Mansion and above cultivators who had contact with Chen Qingyun and met him gathered here to send their congratulations. Chapter 923, Barter Conference. Ice Soul Coral Staff. Compared with the Zifu and Jinden banquets held by the Chen family before, this time the scene was more grand and lively. Chen Qingyun, who was in charge of keeping count, would greet each other from time to time to see which monks were coming to the banquet, adding to the atmosphere of the banquet. When some big shots come to visit for a banquet, you still have to give them the cards they deserve. When he saw the Qing sect monks coming to the banquet to count, Chen Qingyun was stunned for a moment, and then showed excitement. "Sect Master, please come inside. I've met Xingzun. I've met Senior." This scene attracted the attention of the surrounding monks, and soon there was an uproar. Look at the people from the Qing sect who came to participate, including not only the two ancestors Lu Shengyang, Chen Qingyun, Bai Yining, Zhu and Liang. Even the three nascent souls, Xingzun, Qing sect master, and Hongling ancestor, came to support him, which attracted many people's attention. Chen Xianmin was also stunned, thinking that he had only sent an invitation to Patriarch Hongling, but it was out of Chen Qingyun's consideration that he had to invite Master Qingyun. Chen Xianmin did not have high expectations as to whether the Hongling ancestor would come. Looking back now, not only the ancestor of Hongling, but also the Xingzun and the head of the Star sect came together. The leader of the Star sect is a mellow person and good at making friends. He smiled as soon as he opened his mouth and said, "I came uninvited this time, so I caused a lot of disturbance. Congratulations to the nobles for cultivating a nascent soul monk. From now on, if our sect treats you poorly, please forgive me, noble man." As the leader of Xingzong said, he took out a gift box to give as a gift. What was placed in that box was a bottle of Snow Spirit Fairy Dew. Such a handwriting immediately attracted Chen Qingyun, Chen Qingyun and others to exclaim. Gifts worth 2 million were given out on demand. Xingzong was really wealthy. At the same time, Xingzong was willing to give out such a valuable gift, which is enough to show the importance he attaches to the Chen family. Chen Xianmin and Chen Qingyun appeared together to receive Xingzun, Hongling Patriarch and several others, and led them to the honored guest seats. Xingzong wanted to win over the Chen family this time. After congratulating Chen Qingyun, he met Chen Qingyun, Chen Daoran and several others at the cultivation level of Zifu and invited them to serve as the Purple Order Star Patrollers. There is no harm to the Chen family for this kind of invitation, so they are not in a hurry to agree and will wait until the banquet is over before making a decision. With the gathering of powerful people from all walks of life, monks from Wuan Island, Chonglu, Lingbao Mountain and Yaoang Mountain came, and the Chen family was decorated with lights and colorful lights that day and was lively. The head of Lingbao Shan, Qin Zixuan, also visited in person, bringing Zhang Zifan and Bai Yan to congratulate him. Chen Qingyun had a very good impression of this leader of Qin. He welcomed him to sit down without any airs of condescension. This nascent soul banquet not only exposes the Chen family's heritage to the outside world and expands its influence, it is also a good opportunity for the Chen family to make connections. Chen Xianmin even specifically warned that no one should make trouble for the monks who came to the banquet, and they must not act recklessly or provoke others. What I'm afraid of is that the younger generation will use their nostrils to look at people, which will harm the family's dignity. Fortunately, no one was like this at this banquet. The juniors were supervised by their elders, acted appropriately, and maintained proper etiquette. It took a whole morning to receive the distinguished guests. During this period, Mutualist from Yaoang Mountain, Lilac Fairy, and Mrs. Liangxin also came. Chen Qingyun saw many familiar faces, and the number of people attending the banquet reached as many as 5,000 to 6,000. At the banquet, Chen Qingyun saw a group of Zhang family monks. When Zhang Rin saw Chen Qingyun's gaze, he smiled and greeted him proactively. Chen Qingyun's eyes moved, and then he looked next to Zhang Rin, and saw Zhang Wenhui sitting with his head lowered, looking at the teacup on the table in a daze, looking like he was worried. Chen Qingyun glanced twice, looked away, and saw the figure of Zhuan Bingbing and Li Mahun around him. After a while, Zhang Wenhui raised her head and glanced a few more times in the direction of Chen Qingyun. She kept twisting the corners of her clothes and her hands inside secretly in her heart. Hearing the praises and comments from people around him, saying that Chen Qingyun is truly the best among men. He felt even more ashamed of himself. This banquet was held for 3 days, with various delicacies served one after another, and there was singing and dancing at the banquet. In order to liven up the atmosphere, Chen Xianming also held a barter conference on the 3rd day. Taking advantage of the fact that so many monks gathered together this time, it was already a rare spectacle. The monks present basically participated in it, exchanging their extra or unnecessary resources, magic weapons, elixirs, talismans, elixirs, etc. Chen Qingyun did not participate at first, but just watched to see what treasures everyone took out. After waiting for qi refining, foundation building, and Zaifu monks to be exchanged, many people obtained their favorite treasures, which led to Chen Dailin, Chen Qingfeng and others to also participate in the transaction. The barter conference, with more than 5,000 participants, lasted longer than expected, lasting 2 days. During the transaction, many treasures, special magic weapons, and rare spiritual materials appeared. Among them, Lu Shengyang once took out a void crystal and asked Chen Xianming to exchange it for other items, which could be used in the subsequent construction of the teleportation array. Chen Dailin also exchanged a 4th-level dust-removing elixir recipe from a monk from Wuan Island. This elixir has the effect of masking the body's aura and can last for up to 3 years, making it difficult for even nascent soul cultivators to detect it. Liu Zilin took out 2 4th-level high-grade spiritual talismans and exchanged them for a rhizome of the 9-aperture exquisite ginseng from Madame Liangxin. This kind of spiritual ginseng can increase the magic power of the golden elixir monk for 30 years after taking it. Although it only has rhizomes, Liu Zilin controls the purple water and fire, and with the addition of Qingma spiritual liquid, it can completely assist in the cultivation of a complete 9-orifice exquisite ginseng. When the exchange meeting came to the end, Xingzun was somewhat interested and took the initiative to participate, taking out a medium-grade spiritual treasure. A Bingpa coral staff, a medium-grade water and ice dual attribute spiritual treasure, with 3 effects. You can cast spells with water and ice attributes. You can summon marine creatures to fight against the enemy. You can purify the water source, and remove the filth and toxins in the water source. After introducing this spiritual treasure, Xingzun's eyes focused on Chen Qingyun. The appearance of the spiritual treasure has brought this transaction to a new height. Many people have never seen the true face of the spiritual treasure, especially this rare water and ice dual attribute spiritual treasure. This immediately attracted everyone's attention. Xingzun was able to take out the spiritual treasure for trading at this time, and his purpose was also very obvious. The object of the transaction must be the Yuanying cultivator present. The Red Spirit Patriarch and the Star Sect Master were somewhat interested in this ice soul coral staff. This staff was 9 feet long and made of colorful corals. There was also an ice crystal on the top, which was shaped like a spike. From the shape, the first impression of this spiritual treasure was that it was not suitable for close combat. It could not be used to chop with the enemy's magic weapon. It was only suitable for auxiliary and long-range combat. Even so, this still attracted the Red Spirit Patriarch and the other 2 very much. It was a pity that they had just broken through the nascent soul stage not long ago, and they could not take out the same thing to exchange for the time being. Xingzun's exchange conditions were probably not as simple as asking for spiritual stones. As expected, Xingzun's next words confirmed this conjecture. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 924, The Clones of Ancestors Zhu and Liang. In the attention of the crowd, Xingzun spoke slowly. This ice soul coral staff is what I got outside the inner sea. It is also a good treasure and has been with me for many years. I want to exchange it for an item of equivalent value. I wonder if fellow Taoist Chen is interested? Xingzun got straight to the point and looked at Chen Qingyun, directly expressing his desire to make this deal with Chen Qingyun. Chen Qingyun has many spiritual treasures himself, and he will not be dissatisfied with too many spiritual treasures. This ice soul coral staff is from outside the inner sea, so it is obviously a magic weapon produced on the mainland. Recalling the silver circle that Qingguang had used before, the effect of that magic treasure was also very strange. It could actually collect the opponent's magic weapon, which was very amazing. This made the magic weapon that Qingguang took out have a bit of mystery. Chen Qingyun had the idea of exchanging this ice soul coral staff in his mind, and asked, "Exchange with me, I wonder what treasure you want?" Qingguang smiled slightly and said, "Only a 5th level demon pill is enough." Chen Qingyun heard this and immediately became secretly puzzled. Why does this Qingguang need a 5th level demon pill? Didn't Wuda's demon pill have been given to Qingguang before, and used to refine the nascent soul pill? If he wants another one, does it mean that he has to cultivate a spirit beast as well, or is there not enough medicinal materials for refining? Just as he was thinking, Qingguang's words continued to ring. The market price of a mid-level spiritual treasure is around 10 million spirit stones. A 5th level demon pill is worth 10 million war merits in our sect. This value is just right for equal exchange. If you think it's okay, you can give it to me. The number of 5th level demon beasts is very small, and the price is far higher than that of 4th level demon pills. Hunyuan cultivators cherish their lives very much. Many of them master the ways of refining pills, refining weapons, and array formations. They are supported by a certain force and have a stable income of spirit stones. Therefore, they are basically unwilling to kill the Demon King to earn demon pills and gain benefits. Qingguang's demon pill war merit exchange system is specially established by Qingguang. It is just a kind of battle reward and cannot represent the selling value of demon pills. The war merits gained by registering the demon pill are not equal to the market price. For example, a 2nd level demon pill can gain 100 war merits. If this 2nd level demon pill is sold, its value is more than just 100 spirit stones. After all, after registration, the demon pill does not need to be handed in after gaining war merits. No matter how many war merits are gained, even if it is less, it is beneficial to the cultivator. Qingguang only needs a 5th level demon pill for this exchange. This transaction is not a loss for Chen Qingyun, and it is even a bit of an advantage. There are still 6 demon pills in hand. Chen Qingyun agreed to this exchange and took out Shuang's demon pill for the transaction. The Bingpo coral staff was obtained, and the transaction ended. Many people exchanged their favorite treasures. The banquet came to the end. It was already afternoon, and everyone began to leave. Chen Xianming greeted and watched the guests leave, and agreed to visit often in the future. The guests responded politely, and then one by one set up the flying boats, magic tools and other things to fly away from Lingjian Island. When most of the guests left, the 2 ancestors Zhu and Liang did not rush to say goodbye. From time to time, their eyes fell on Chen Qingyun, as if they wanted to say something but stopped. Until only Liu Zilin and several cultivators of the Zhang family were left, the ancestors Zhu finally couldn't help but asked Chen Qingyun to come to talk for a while. "What do you think?" Chen Qingyun asked with a slight smile. Everyone was a guest, so he didn't put on any high and mighty airs. Zhu and Liang looked at each other and thought about how to start. It was still the ancestor Liang who chose to speak frankly and said directly, "Senior, we want to seek the method of forming a 5-element infant. I wonder if the senior can teach us how to cultivate the 5-element external incarnation to the peak of the golden elixir stage." This sentence made Chen Qingyun's expression suddenly condensed, and he was quite surprised. The 2 ancestors Zhu and Liang actually knew the method of forming a baby with the 5 elements, and even mentioned the 5 elements external incarnation. It seems that they know the skills of the 5 elements sect and are still practicing. "Senior, please listen to my self-introduction first." Realizing the importance of this matter, he needed to explain it. Ancestor Zhu showed a serious look and spoke. "The 2 of us have not lived long. Hundreds of years ago, we were cultivators of the 5 elements sect. Later, because the sect was destroyed, we settled in Xinghai and became cultivators of Xingguang." As Ancestor Zhu took the initiative to tell the story, Chen Qingyun finally understood the origins of the two people. It turned out that these two people were not native Xinghai cultivators, but from the Five Elements sect. They were two giant cultivators of the Five Elements sect at that time. Like a few other fellow disciples, when the Five Elements sect was destroyed, they happened to be on a mission outside the sect and traveled and escaped by chance. After that, in order to continue the sect's inheritance, the Five Elements sect carried out the ancestral precepts and looked for people with predestined relationships to pass on the mantle. The Qing sect should not know the origins of the two ancestors Zhu and Liang. Otherwise, why haven't Qing sect cultivators used the Five Elements puppet for such a long time? Chen Qingyun didn't intend to delve into this. What he cared more about was that the other party actually saw that he had practiced the Five Elements sect's skills. When he participated in the first expedition, he controlled the puppet to fight, which obviously made the two people notice it and recognize it at a glance. At that time, he fought with these two people and protected an island together. With the strength of the Purple Mansion period at that time, how could he hide those Five Elements puppets under the eyes of the Golden Core cultivators? I have been secretly observed by them for so long. It is not easy to conceal it if I practice the same source of skills. And I would never have thought that the two ancestors of the Qing sect came from the Five Elements sect and could recognize the Five Elements puppets by chance. Chen Qingyun thought in his heart that if he had known this earlier, he would not have controlled the puppets to fight in front of Zhu and Liang. Including the fact that Li Mubin recognized the origin of the puppets, it was also because he had contact with the Five Elements sect and could identify them. These were all unexpected things. Fortunately, now that the strength has become stronger, as long as it is not noticed by the divine transformation cultivators, exposing the clone is nothing. As long as the secret of the system is kept, it will be fine. After the story was finished, the ancestors Zhu and Liang showed nervousness on their faces and paid attention to the changes in Chen Qingyun's expression. In front of Chen Qingyun, these two old masters of Xingzong had no dignity at all, but seemed to be juniors. After a short silence, Patriarch Zhu said, "I wonder if the senior is willing to teach me?" As soon as he finished speaking, he looked at Patriarch Liang and took out a clone together to stand in front of him. "Senior, please look, this is the Five Elements incarnation cultivated by the two juniors." Chen Qingyun took a look and found that the two clones were both old men, and both were at the early stage of giant. Without the blessing of enhanced talent, it is not easy to rely on the Five Elements spirit objects to cultivate the clone to this level step by step. Chapter 925 Spirit Insect Advancement. In the early days, Chen Qingyun only had the Five Elements puppetry technique and did not know that the Five Elements puppet could use the Five Elements spiritual objects to improve the grade. After having the Five Elements external incarnation, he learned the method of promoting the puppet. However, the scope of the Five Elements spiritual objects is very wide, and it depends entirely on oneself to what level the puppet or clone can be promoted. This involves his own secrets, so Chen Qingyun naturally will not reveal this. Chen Qingyun withdrew his gaze from the two clones, looked at Zhu and Liang, and spoke lightly. "You all know that this clone can be cultivated with the Five Elements spiritual objects. As for what grade it can be cultivated to, it all depends on what kind of resources are invested. You are from the Five Elements sect, so is there no relevant record in the Five Elements sect's inheritance techniques?" This question is really right. Chen Qingyun still doesn't know what other methods can quickly improve the strength of the clone. Either refine the fairy puppet to reach the middle stage of the golden elixir, or use a large number of Five Elements spiritual objects to slowly cultivate. But this world is so vast that there are countless natural treasures and rare spiritual objects. It is impossible to say that there are no better spiritual objects with more powerful effects that can enhance the power of the clone. It can only be said that in the cognition of several people, they do not know the existence of such spiritual objects. Hearing this, Patriarch Zhu shook his head slowly and said frankly, "We don't have many inherited techniques, and the methods mentioned are limited. If you want to raise this clone to the peak of the golden elixir, I estimate that it will take at least 100 or 200 years. The Patriarch Liang sighed slightly and smiled bitterly. "Yes, 1 or 200 years. It's a pity that our lifespan is not much, and we don't have so much time to cultivate the clone. So, I asked presumptuously today. I hope you will forgive me for disturbing you. The two are old hands, and they can see Chen Qingyun's thoughts. This obviously involves some secrets that he does not intend to reveal. The two of them understood each other and had no intention of asking further questions. They could only try to make use of the last few decades to try to make a fetus. As long as they could make a fetus successfully, even if it was a human fetus, it would be good, as long as it could increase their lifespan. As for the earth vein fetus and the heaven vein fetus, only those with great opportunities and perseverance could have the opportunity to condense them. Who wouldn't want to condense a better fetus? But being able to make a fetus was a luxury for many cultivators. In order to dispel Chen Qingyun's concerns, Zhu and Liang were very experienced and took the initiative to swear a great oath in front of Chen Qingyun, promising not to disclose the matter to a fourth person. The fact that Chen Qingyun had the 5 elements puppet, the 5 elements incarnation, and the 5 elements fetus must be kept secret, and not a single word should be mentioned to the outside world. They were really afraid that Chen Qingyun would kill them to keep the secret. Not being able to get the answer from Chen Qingyun, Patriarch Liang felt regretful and said secretly, "It's a pity that this matter touches on Chen Qingyun's secret, and he will not tell us the answer after all. Now that we have made a great vow to the devil, it can be regarded as a reassurance for him. We can't mention this matter in front of him in the future." Nascent soul stage. This is the dream of many cultivators. Patriarch Zhu's thoughts are similar to those of Patriarch Liang. The two of them have a tacit understanding. After looking at each other, they both chose to keep silent about this matter. The two of them simply said goodbye to Chen Qingyun and set up a flying boat to fly to Xingzong. In order to strive for a breakthrough opportunity and impact the nascent soul stage, the two will no longer be stationed at the Hanjing mine in the next few decades, and Patriarch Qiang will be stationed instead. And perhaps, there will be a chance for a breakthrough at Xingzong. 3 days after the nascent soul banquet ended, Chen Xianming and others counted the gifts they received. The most valuable one here is the snow spirit fairy dew given by Xingzong. The rest are some rare treasures, ginseng and Ganoderma lucidum, etc. In short, the appearance will not be too bad. These are all gifts for Chen Qingyun. Chen Qingyun accepted them all for the time being. In the future, he will also need to exchange gifts. After staying in the family for a few days, Chen Qingyun took Liu Zilin, King Luan, Qingyun and Qingguang on the teleportation array and returned to Zhenhai Island. After more than 2 years of absence, he took a tour of the island. The scenery on Zhenhai Island has not changed much, but some houses have been built in the mortal area. Seeing Chen Qingyun and his friends coming back, the mortals they saw greeted them warmly and called them Immortal Master. The development of Zhenhai Island is no less than that of Linjian Island. More and more mortals have moved here, and there are teleportation arrays to communicate with each other. The family has sent some new monks to garrison here, and the atmosphere is more lively than before. The area where Chen Qingyun and his friends live is much quieter, like a paradise, and the mortals on the island will not disturb them at will. Chen Qingyun and the others returned to their residences to practice and sort out the gains from this battle. Chen Qingyun entered the blessed land bead and checked the progress of the spiritual pet's promotion. The 6-winged miasma cloud bees and golden-winged insects had awakened and were extremely active. At Chen Qingyun's call, they flew in groups and surrounded them. Chen Qingyun's attention first fell on the 6-winged miasma cloud bees. After a closer look, a happy expression appeared on his face. The peak of the golden elixir. This is the 4th level top-grade bloodline. The 6-winged miasma cloud bees were promoted from the original middle stage of the golden elixir to the peak of the golden elixir. This improvement is not bad. In terms of quantity, there was no improvement because they had only awakened for more than 10 days. After this, when those green yuan fruits mature, the number of spirit bees will increase greatly. The gold-winged insects have been upgraded to the late stage of the golden elixir, which is the 4th grade upper grade bloodline, and the number has not increased much. The upgrade effect of the 2 spirit insects is good. When Chen Qingyun paid attention to Bai Ling again, Bai Ling was still in a dormant period. Waiting for Bai Ling to wake up, Chen Qingyun took out more than 100 dragon bead grasses and began to feed the 6-winged miasma bees and gold-winged insects. These dragon bead grasses were all obtained from the demon ancestor hall and can continue to be used to improve the strength of the spirit insects. After feeding the spirit insects, Chen Qingyun paid attention to the status of Mo Ling and Tianyan's double swords. Mo Ling continued to absorb the deep-sea thunder spring and was wrapped in a ball of silver thunder. After careful perception, it can be felt that Mo Ling will continue to maintain this state in a short period of time, and there is no rush. Chen Qingyun turned his eyes and fell on the Tianyan double swords. The power of this pair of spiritual treasures has been further improved, increasing by 50%. It seems that there is still a great hope to advance to the level of mid-grade spiritual treasures. Looking at the pond again, the capacity of those deep-sea thunder springs has been consumed by 1/3. And it is estimated that there will not be much left in the end. In this way, Chen Qingyun waited for Bai Ling to wake up while improving his refining and formation skills. In terms of refining, he exchanged a lot of 4th level and 5th level materials in Xingzong. Chen Qingyun compared the 5th level recipe obtained in Wuxingzong and began to refine a mid-grade spiritual treasure called Extreme Cold Amethyst Shield. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.